And we are live tonight, right here by the campfire with LordCognito back. Gotta see how he is doing. Tie Guy Travis, the man who does not sleep on the West Coast, talking with my man from the East Coast, and I'm sitting here between them down here in Texas. So
betwixt,
in between. No, Cog, I wanted to start with you because one, we normally don't, and two, you weren't with us last week, so just trying to catch up and see how you're doing, what you've been up to. Saw the stuff on Twitter. How you doing, man?
It's better. It's been a very stressful year. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. You know, I try to be as transparent as possible with my health stuff because I know some people say it really helps them that they know what I'm going through because some people are really suffering in silence with their health, and I'm trying to, you know, kind of get us out of that. So basically, what's been going on is most of you guys know. Yeah, Trav, I know. I don't. You know, when Travis is ready to discuss, Travis can discuss, and that's how I respect everybody. But yeah, man, like it's just been a rough year. Obviously, the top of the year was diverticulitis. That was rough. And then obviously, you know, when I came back from GCX in Florida, that's when I got hit with that new strand of COVID, pneumonia on top of it. And then
you got that IOT strain.
Yeah. So it's like a magic bullet. It's like they had, remember when they got Cade and they got his ghost? They had the magic bullet. Like it was bad, man. But all jokes aside, you know, at that time I was told, hey, if you wasn't a healthy guy, this would have killed you. So it kind of put things in perspective. Also was kind of the reality of the residuals of a post-COVID type of situation. And the things that they revealed to me was that, hey, we saw some things on your liver. And I was like, oh, and it's like, yeah, you may have some acute kidney something. And I'm like, oh, so it wasn't over that I survived. Now it's like, let's see these residual things. And the big chapter, which everybody, all my specialists was saying, was like, we need to know, you got to get a liver biopsy and we got to know what's going on. And yeah, it was stressful. It was really stressful because they did see something. And at the time they just said, you know, I was like, is there anything I can do health wise? And they basically said, you know, you want to try to have a low sodium diet. So I went extreme. And I just got rid of salt completely because I am the worst offender. I'm the guy at EUTXB. I'm drowning in ketchup. I'm drowning in A1 sauce. I get eggs in something. I'm drowning salt all over. I am terrible. Margaritas. Yeah, right. Okay. When I'm with you, Trav,
there's got to be extra salt. So there has to be a balance to that, though.
Yeah,
because your food can't taste like ass the entire time.
True, but I went to ass tasting. Because I want to live. I was
don't take that out of context, everybody.
Don't take that out of context.
Hot sauce.
And shout out to Mrs. Dash. Mrs. Dash.
There you go.
And pepper, mix that in.
What is Mrs. Dash?
It's just like a non-salt seasoning.
Yeah, non-salt seasoning. Got that thing in there. So I went extreme. They gave me like a range for low sodium, but I said no sodium. So since then, and I told the story on Duke about the biopsy, when it was time to do it, they couldn't find the lesions. So I was like, that sounds maybe, isn't that positive? I was like, you know, you can't find it. So yeah, then we came out. He was like, all right, we still gonna do it in a CAT scan, which I hate. And then this week was the culmination of the results of them taking the 4 or 5 pieces. And yeah, they got back and my gastroenterologist sat me down. He just said, look, you know, after everything, we are not seeing the lesions right now. We see one very faint. But he said liver function is normal. So I couldn't believe it. I thought I was coming in expecting the big C. When you're a 40-something-year-old person, you know, it's time for colonoscopies. It's time for, you know.
Yeah, you're 40, things change.
Yeah, I'm in the big 4 OG gang. So I thought, I was bracing myself. Look, you may hear some news you ain't gonna like. And you better prepare your life if it's that. So when he said that, it's like I feel like I got a second lease a little bit. And I just feel I need to tell people, a lot of this stuff I feel does work, and I'm changing. So E, you'll be proud of me. None of that A1, no drowning, none of that. Now, granted, it's in excess. If I see Trav, I'm gonna have one margarita. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's kind of
it's excess.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like I've got family that went through a similar thing with like salt and high blood pressure, and they had one thing, and all of a sudden they never salt anything. I'm like, that's not how that works.
True.
Like you can use a little, like, yeah, you don't need to cover it in it and that type of thing. And there's certain things that you can avoid, but it's like, use multiple spices like garlic powder and onion powder, and then you can have some salt and pepper mixed, or even like a seasoned salt, depending on how high that is. But again, also how much. But I was
Right,
like, yeah, it's
moderation.
like, I mean, if you're also doing cooking for yourself and stuff like that, then you can get a little more control. And you got meals and stuff where you can watch. Like, not saying anybody shouldn't be healthy, but also it's like there's got to be a balance to that, so your food is not totally terrible. You don't need to be like boiling chicken. Please don't do that. It's just awful. But that's really, really good. That's that. When I saw the tweet, I knew we had heard some stuff, and you were going through some stuff, and then I saw like the tweet that things were getting better, which was good. But yeah, just like liver biopsy, I'm like, I don't know if you guys medically know a biopsy is taking a piece of something. So it's like somewhere they have to get to that liver, which is probably like a needle through your stomach, I imagine, is the only way to probably get in there.
Bro, they like, if you hear clipping sounds, don't freak out. That's just us cutting
a piece of your liver. Yep.
I was like, and they got Trav, it's a medieval torture device. They put you in this thing flat with your arms like this.
They don't
you
want you to move by
Jesus. They strap your legs down. I'm already claustrophobic, right? Then the needle is the least thing of your work. You don't even feel that. That's nothing you feel. The worst part is then they do it and they say, all right, hold your breath, don't move. That's when they do the clipping. Then they have you on that board. They slide you into the what I call the coffin, which is the CAT scan. Then you got to hold your breath in there again while they scan you and then break. And this process goes on for like an hour. Jeez. And then the recovery is 5 hours. And I'm just like, it's great. But shout out to the ROG ally in the recovery. I was able to get some Starfield. I would have played more Destiny. That's why I haven't played much Destiny, because I'm like,
that's like one Iron Lords podcast though. That whole process.
That's true. That is 100% true.
Yeah. You are hour of holding your breath, ILP. 5 hours of recovery. Yeah, it's basically
that's just one ILP. Yeah, that's just one weekend.
Sounds about right.
But enough about that. I mean, what's going on with everybody? What's games people are playing? What's going on? Let's talk positive. What's going on?
What have you been playing? We're still on you.
Bro, I mean,
not playing.
He's
playing the game of life.
Playing the game of life. Rolling those dice, spinning that little wheel in the middle.
I heard Festival of Lost is lit. Like I'm hearing good things. I don't know what's going on out here.
We'll get to it. Yep.
Oh, and then I know we got a season.
We got read all updates.
The tweets. I know we got some updates on some seasons. And somebody snitched out some exotic updates that ain't implemented yet.
Bungie?
So I know about
Bungie
that.
Bungie did that. Yep.
There's some exotics in the wild, like the Trick Sleeves and the Titan exotic, and then the Karnstein gauntlets. There's a couple of exotics that I know that the verbiage of what they're about to do is out, but they're not implemented. And then so we got to. I'm dying to know, because Festival of Lost historically for me has always been terrible. So I want to know what's going on. Y'all got to tell me. But other than that, just surviving and then getting back to game playing this week.
Travis, what have you been up to?
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing some previews this week. Actually, I did a preview a while back, but now I can talk about it, which is I've been covering some new VR games for the MetaQuest 3, because the MetaQuest 3 came out this past week. So I've been playing games right before the MetaQuest 3 came out. I was playing some games that are not yet out yet still. And I can talk about one of them right now, which is Assassin's Creed Nexus, which is the full Assassin's Creed VR game. You can see my preview on YouTube or IGN.com, but basically the summary is that after Half-Life Alyx, I've sort of been looking for my next like big budget VR game that feels full featured and like brings me back to that, because VR has sort of been on like a regression path after Alyx, because nothing has even gotten close to it in like 3 years. But Assassin's Creed Nexus was the first time I played a game and I was like, okay, you have my attention. This feels like a full game. Nice. And the reason for that is because I was expecting it to be like a tech demo, like something that's cool, but you know, it's not like a full game like the Batman VR game. Or
it was like, what was the Heart of the Mountain? What's the PSVR one, Heart of the Mountain, that I feel like was I heard was kind of tech demo-y?
Call of the Mountain for the
Call of the Mountain.
Yeah. There's a few games like that where you're like, okay, it's cool, but it's not really a full game. And I was really surprised because Assassin's Creed Nexus is a full game. It's like a full Assassin's Creed game. It's like hours of content. It's got multiple levels, 3 different storylines. You play as Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2, Connor from Assassin's Creed 3, and Cassandra from Odyssey. And you play a member of Abstergo who's going into all these different characters' lives to like fish out information about some, shady stuff, or you're up to Abstergo shenanigans or whatever. But it has like full Assassin's Creed everything. Like it's got the part where you're climbing buildings and doing the leap of faith into hay. It's got like stealth sections. Yeah, it's got parkour where you're running up walls. It's got stealth sections where you're tailing people and snatching keys off of people, and pickpocketing and lockpicking chests and stuff like that. And it's got combat, and so it's basically got it's got the full Assassin's Creed experience in it. And it's pretty good. I mean, I played it for a little over an hour, a couple levels on the Ezio storyline, and I was like, this kind of is way better than I was expecting, because I was kind of expecting it to be just maybe one part of the Assassin's Creed adventure, or like a little mini game, but it felt like substantially more than that. And taking a look at the I got a peek at the like menu with all the levels unlocked, and I was like, there's a whole bunch of levels in here. Like this looks like the full game. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for it. That's probably going to be the next VR game I like fully play. I might review it. I'm going to try to see if I can review it. We don't really review a ton of VR games at IGN, but that's mostly because there's not a lot of big VR games that people care about. And so I'm excited to do this one. And then I have a couple other previews that I can't talk about yet for other VR games. But yeah, the bottom line is like, the MetaQuest 2 has been holding back the VR market for a while because it's so ubiquitous, and it's also one of the weakest VR headsets. And so it's really nice to see the MetaQuest 3 come out and that allow for experiences that are a little bit more substantial. And I think that that's going to reflect in the games that are made in the next couple years. So I'm hopeful that the VR market will see a resurgence of cool stuff, because it feels like we have sort of been backsliding a little bit in that part of the video game realm. But yeah, really cool stuff. So that game comes out next month. I think it's like the second week of November, Assassin's Creed. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, so some people really speak highly of it, similar to you. I'm looking at your preview right now with the leap of faith and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, man. What you been playing, man? What's been going on with you?
Between a smattering of some Lords of the Fallen when I can find time, a little bit of Rivals and stuff when it comes to Forza, so sneaking that in when like Ains tags me in something, so still trying to go back to that.
Did we get the wheel?
Not yet. No, between it being sold out and other things, it just hadn't happened right now. So it's kind of one of those that's like
Wheel Fund. Wheel Fund crew, chime in.
Wheel Fund crew, we gotta get it back out there.
We want our money back. By the wheel.
You guys are just help supporting a bad habit if that thing comes into play. So it's just kind of like Forza is like one of the, like, I really enjoy the driving experience. Then you see like some of the clips on that I haven't experienced as much, but the clips of like, hey, I'm gonna park in the middle of the road, and what's gonna happen to the AI? It's like other games will drive around me, and it's whether it was Forza or previous Forza or maybe GT, and then in this one it's like they just drive straight into the side of you, and there's just it needs work. And as I said, it's a fun game. Enjoy the driving experience. I've really whittled my times down. Like Ains and I were top like 2 or 3% on one of those main Rivals ones. So we were going back and forth for a while. Hopefully he doesn't beat me on that one, because I don't know if I got anything left. And then
wasn't he ahead of you the last time I checked? Did that change? You topped him again?
Yeah.
You did?
Yes. Yeah, the one where he like announced it live on the show.
Yeah, you beat him?
I beat him. After that one, I went back and had to beat him. And I didn't beat him by much, but when you're down to like the slivers that we're working on, it doesn't take much. So as they say in Fast and Furious, doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile. And this was a couple inches probably. No, I'm just kidding. But it was like, we're talking 800ths of a second. Not a lot, but we're really trying to get close. So it's like, so now he's got like a group of friends and stuff that are, he's kind of just like tagging everybody and go like, see what you can do for a time in this one. And then it reminded me one of the flaws, and it's the upgrade system right now, which they did patch, but it's still not like...
Are they patched?
It's not good enough, not even close. Because, like, I mean, I can spend time working on Rivals and other things. They're like, oh, yeah, you can go through an entire tour. And, like, okay, some people went through the entire tour, and they're like, I'm level 12. Not all the way there. And the issue is, say, like, there are certain cars that are, if you really upgrade them to A-spec, they're, it's like you take a C-class car, beef that puppy
move
up
it
to A spec with like race spec tires and like race soft tires, and then go in there with like upgraded turbo, and you had to take a tiny little thing and make it a beast. They tend to be pretty fitting to like really stomp a class. Well, if I buy like an M3 from 97, but I want to upgrade it from C to A, I got to put time in. There's no other way to do it.
There's
and
no
it's
other way
like,
to do it.
so for me, I've got to find time to put into this race just to go get into this rivals thing, just to have one of the competitive cars. And it's like, that is the annoying part. It's like, I don't mind going through the Grand Tour, but it's like, you can't buy a car and like jump into the high version of it if that's what the, what it calls for.
Yeah. Because in correct me if I'm wrong, because I know nothing about the motorsport scene, but like Horizon used to solve that problem by like allowing you to have like a rental that was at class.
You can free play to some extent.
To enter an event.
To like enter an event, but it's like part of it too is like if you're going to work on a rivals, you're going to be spending time in that car for a while. So you do want to actually either you're going to spend the time to upgrade it then, or you're going to spend the time to upgrade it later. It's just like you could have $12 million and it doesn't matter, because you could buy the car and it's all good. You could buy 20 cars, they're all at level 1. Now you have 20 cars times, 10 hours or whatever it takes hours wise to get up to level 50 just to get there. Like the ones I've leveled up so far have been the spec cars that you drive like at stock. Like here is the car off the factory floor, go race your friend on the track because everyone has the same one. Those are nice because you don't have to upgrade. If you get to the point of upgrading, that's where the time sync comes into play. And I knew when I talked about it to just myself in my review, I knew was eventually going to come up where I just want to tape the accelerator, turn on the assists, and hope it levels up for me. So that's kind of that annoyance rose its head this time, and I was like, yeah, that's still kind of there. Like I enjoy part of it, and then you're seeing some of the AI issues, and then just it'll take a while for it to be what it's supposed to be. It's a decent platform to start. I do expect the live service on this to be better than, say, something like Halo. Obviously, something like
Halo kind of popping right now.
Halo right now is in a different spot. Like that's different, but we're also on season 5.
True, absolutely.
Like we're on season 5, not what it could have been. So,
but I gotta give Halo some. That was the only thing I snuck in this morning for 5 because everybody was raving, and I was like, "Yo, I don't know, Travis, the last time you played, but Halo's kind of popping."
Season 5 is ridiculously good.
Yeah,
I've been seeing all the stuff online, and
this is what happens. Right?
Yeah, they added AI to Forge, which you can program stuff, and people are doing stuff like making giant hunters.
Yeah, I saw some Godzilla. I say, yo, what are they doing?
Dude, it's cool. I this is the sort of like difference between Destiny and Halo is that Halo has always sort of let the players come in and just like mix and match. Even Halo Combat Evolved had like make your own game mode, weird stuff like that. And Destiny has like very much a walled garden approach of curating for you. And yeah, Halo feels so much fun right now. I still think their live service model pales in comparison to other games because we're not getting the 50% of the live service model they promised us, the campaign, I'll never forgive them for spending 6 years to develop this engine and then deciding to not hire a team to work on live service before the game came out. Like that first year hurt them so much. But that said, now that that's in the past, I'm really excited about where Halo's at right now. And it's awesome to see people playing and enjoying it. And I'm gonna find more time to play it. But season 5 looks amazing.
It's good. No, but I get your point. Back. Sorry, I cut you off in reference to motorsport and how it has to evolve as a platform.
And it's like they listened to feedback where they took some of the car leveling time down. Like I haven't done an apples to apples. Like this takes you X number of hours. Now it's down to this one. Like I haven't seen that stuff yet. But on the other side, it's also like it's got a ways to go to be what it can be. But I do hope with the support they talked about, like the multiplayer events and the tracks and that type of stuff, like. As long as they get a consistent cadence and as long as they listen to feedback and they're open to it, then I think you got a good driving platform long term. But it's just, for some people, it's light. For some people, the AI is annoying. The upgrade path can be a bit frustrating. Multiplayer, safety scoring and stuff like that. From what I've seen, it actually has a lot of potential. Like I've looked up a lot of videos trying to see what others are thinking, whether they're sim drivers like Super GT, who Destin talked to, and a couple others. Like they're having fun in the multiplayer, because it does incentivize really good tight racing. But also, again, in that one, if you get into a point where it's a spec car, but somebody has spent more time in the car, then you're in the Dodge Viper level 1 versus somebody Dodge Viper level 50, and they can tweak and mix and match and make it a little better. So it's it's a balance. So it's like, I think, but again, the potential is definitely there. So we will see.
Mhm.
Sorry, I just saw
Cool.
something for Twitter that said things were
Something fixed.
never completed about
Chat saying something
Yeah,
fixed.
literally as of right now on this podcast. Yeah, we'll talk about what bugs are
Yeah,
now
please tell me what's
fixed.
going on.
Well, that's probably a good transition to switch over to.
Did they ever replace their QA person?
Because what one of the leads was either left or let go or something like that.
Let go.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the person who was let go posted on Twitter about how she was let go, and she was like upset about it. So I don't think it was voluntary. I'm just wondering if they hired for that position, because I mean their QA has not gotten any better since Lightfall, pre-Lightfall. I feel like they've been regressing a little bit.
Yeah, it's been yeah. There's a lot
buggy.
going on. Little buggy. Yep.
I blame remote work for that for sure. I bet you it's so hard to QA a game remotely. That just sounds hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cannot be easy.
Bungie has QA.
Bungie, yo, they said
they
I was like, I saw something that Insomniac actually is open to, I think, work from anywhere for some of their studio. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised that I was like, all right, like they actually do put out quality games. So
I mean, there are success stories. The studio that makes Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, they've always been a remote studio for like a decade.
Yeah,
and
yes.
so those games were made fully remote, but they also take forever to develop those games. So I feel like it's probably a lot slower. But yeah, there's a QA. There's a QA problem going on in games in general right now. Look no further than Lords of the Fallen, a game that I wanted to give a higher score. Lords of the Fallen, it just performs like crap on every platform.
They've literally had, because I was like, I got into the creators Discord, and like I'll look in there and then I'll see the game. It's like it has been a daily patch. Before launch, like I got it before launch a little bit.
And some have made it worse, by the way.
And like I think Travis was seeing similar stuff of like, but it's like it has been daily patches that they are trying to work on optimization, fixes, bugs, a whole bunch of random stuff.
And I had a discussion. I mean, there was another game.
They removed crossplay because it was causing so many issues.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Oh damn!
They removed crossplay from their game, which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what was it? Something happened. Wasn't it Lord of Fallen that they were like they put out the patch and then they were like the Xbox they could get their patch. They like
Xbox
a patch
was later. Yeah.
They got it the same day, but it was like 6 hours later. Yeah, it was after the
same day.
Yeah, they did
but after the game. Oh god.
No. The game had been out for like 7 hours, and I played it before the patch, and it was unplayable. I'm talking Microsoft PowerPoint slideshow. Wow. So bad, dude.
Yeah, I heard console was pretty rough.
Console was so bad. The textures looked like it was a Lego game. Like it just removed all the detail stripped from it. And then they patched it, and it worked totally fine. And by fine, I mean as well as it worked on PC, which is okay, but then occasionally has like really bad frame dips, especially in certain areas of the map. And I'm convinced that game has a memory leak problem, because it seems like the longer you stay in it and the more areas you visit without turning the game off, the worse the performance gets. And then every time I run into that problem, whenever I just like close the app and then reopen it, it's fine. So
wow.
I honestly think it's just a memory leak problem they need to fix.
Yeah. Shout out to Back. He said Diablo remove crossplay as well with the new season 2. I gotta get into that.
Diablo 4, like they delayed the launch of their season as like the same day Bungie's patch festival was going live. The new season for Diablo was delayed too, and it's just like, man, just to release a game that just runs right now, man, that is
seems to be
that's rare.
Yeah, seems to be rare now. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, as of the moment we are recording this podcast, I think literally 5 minutes ago, from however long that took to talk about, up until right now, Festival of the Lost has been live, but it has been bugged. So, a couple things that were going on. We are in haunted sectors. We have legend haunted sectors, which are not easy. People die a lot. My first legend lost sector I got into, recommended power level, like 1830 or 1815 is the minimum, like like the cap, I guess I should say, and then what you're playing against is 1830. I got paired with a 1761 and a 1782, and I eventually pulled one of those guys, the dude who stuck around long enough to finish the thing, because there was no like fail timer per se. But I eventually drug that guy to the finish line, just basically working on it by myself.
Blueberry gang.
That's not what you should do. You should be like, you need to be a minimum level to join it. I'm sorry, like at least 1800. But the way these things are tuned, I swear you almost need to be almost 1810 or something just to jump into them because of how they feel. So now again, I did it today and I had a couple of people that were like totally fine. Like they were fine, went through, cool. Now, the issues that were going on the normal difficulty version, where most people probably are going to end up, when you kill the headless ones, there's a triumph where you need to kill 100 of them. And each time you kill one of those, and then you finish the activity for each one you kill, you convert spectral pages to manifested pages, same stuff we did before. We're just on volume 3 now. In normal mode, every one of the headless ones you killed didn't count for the triumph. And you need that triumph to unlock a mask to do a secret triumph. So that's part of it. So they said if you go into legend, then you can get the progress. And if you go into legend, they actually count for 3 times the progress.
Forced engagement, Bungie. I'm just joking.
So if you go into legend, you get, now here's an annoying thing I figured out today, because I hadn't paid attention to that triumph yet. So if you go into legend, every one of those headless ones, you'll probably not kill as many, but you get 3 times the progress. So we killed like 6 or 7 or 8, however many you killed. So I got like 18, 21 like counting of progress on the triumph. I still only got 7 or 8 pages though. I didn't get extra pages converted. So that again, you're taking away the purpose of spending more time in the more difficult one and probably getting less. So you're like, okay. So legend, you could make the progress, but you don't convert the pages any faster. Normal will convert the pages, but has no progress on the triumph. Then one of the big things everybody wanted was the new Memento. The all black, like the black leather, whatever they called it and described it as, but it was like the blackout Memento. Well, you could get the one from the Triumph, and shout out to, I think it was Stinky Beaver, who was just like hard on this one. Everybody's like, no, who really said it?
Stinky Beaver, shout out.
I mean,
good name.
Take that name for what you will. But anyway, I know you will. Yep.
Is there any other response to
hearing just that trying to move forward in the podcast here? Anywho, he's part of like math class and Dado's playing and all that stuff. So,
Sticky Beaver, respect.
But he was just like, he was really focused on part of the TWID last week that said it'll take a little while for them to start dropping, but then you'll be able to get them from Eerie Engrams. And no one had seen a second one. So you could get the first one, and then all the Eerie Engrams that you would unlock, you would see no more. Well, then finally, it was like yesterday it came out saying, hey, this is actually bugged. We should be seeing more. So he was vindicated. As of literally the recording of this show, maybe 15 minutes ago, Bungie did, I think, actually correct both things that were wrong. So now the Heads Will Roll event challenge can now be completed in both normal and haunted, and additional festival mementos are now dropping from Eerie Engrams.
Oh, I'm back just in time. I like when I come back and it's fixed.
I mean, this is kind of one of those things. Like if you go hard in the beginning of anything,
this is a virtue.
Yeah, if you go hard in the anything of Destiny, you can like, you know, have the story take 6 weeks, or it can take you 6 hours if you wait till the final week. In this one, if you burn through all your time, I was like, that's why I didn't play it that hard, because there wasn't much. I'm not going to go hard here or whatever. Yeah, so it is double Nightfall rewards. It's double Vanguard rep. So if you do spend time in Nightfall and you need to build up some currencies, you could probably do that pretty easily. Because like even in a hero Nightfall, when double rewards are on, I'll get like 6 cores, 2 prisms, and the Nightfalls are not that difficult at that level. So if you need to get some currencies up, that's an easy way to do it right now. But yeah, Festival of the Lost, as of now, seems to be more working.
Okay.
Last 2 days, last literal 40, I don't know, 54 hours? Not so much.
Not so much. Well, fair enough.
Patience is a virtue in Destiny.
Patience. It is.
That's why I don't do my weekly reset until Thursday.
Gaming Forte coming in with
when they auto complete all the triumphs for you.
Yeah, or they take the triumph of like 50 and they take it down to like 1, and you're like, shout out to the Scaras and Teddies of the world who lose their mind. As we celebrate another week inside of the Church of the Last Word, let us rejoice in the glory of Spider-Man 2 and Mario Wonder Game of the Year, about to be interesting. Seriously, Game of the Year, these two are coming in hot. Bro. Alan Wake is next week. I want to play Ghost Runner 2 because I played the demo and that was actually really legit fun. I don't think
Ghost
that's
Runner 1 is amazing.
Yeah, I never got far enough into it to really get hooked. I probably tried it. And,
I beat that whole game.
Yeah.
That game was crack cocaine.
Ghost Runner reminded me of Neon White. Has that really fast action, no forgiveness, but kind of quick get. That's the way every respawn should work, and that's another thing. The Lords of the Fallen that bugs me. Like I was getting down to a boss fight. Well, I gotta raise the lift up, then I gotta go back down, and then it was just everybody's going to die to these bosses in Souls games. I'm just going to say this out loud. And at this point, we are past Demon Souls and running through half the level. Put a checkpoint right in front of the damn boss. And another thing that annoyed me about Lords of the Fallen,
you can put your own checkpoint in front of the boss.
Yeah, well, you get a limited number of those seeds, and when you don't know where a boss is, and you feel like you've made far enough progress, you're like, hey, I'm going to plant a seed here that this is my respawn point. But now you got to go through all this stuff down here and do this stuff. Oh, and then here's the flower bed to put put that seed that you could have put up there right in front of the boss room. But if you made them,
are they limited though?
I mean, when you start off, you're not rolling in them. I can tell you that. Either way,
they're super easy to get. But yeah,
either way, it was just one of those things. So I literally put it in the wrong spot. So it was the one where the first time I fought the lady with the dogs, and I was just and that was just an endurance fight. That was.
Well, you have a shortcut back to the lady with the dogs. You just take the elevator down.
Oh, I know. I got to that point finally, but it took a little while to get all the kinks worked out. So, but yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah, that's Souls games for you.
Being that Forte brought this up with the competition is insane for Game of the Year. You two of the Souls boys. I'm starting to hear a lot of Lies of P needs to be considered talk. How are we feeling? Is it good, or Gene Park was raving to me a few hours ago, and
really like the game.
I will say, this is my game of the year. I'm like, really? Because I spoke to my homies and they liked it.
Maybe in 2019, if you have a year where Sekiro wins Game of the Year because there wasn't really a whole lot else out, but in 2023, love you, Liza P, but you weren't even the best Souls that came out this year.
Oh, so who's the best? Who's the best that came out in your
Remnant
opinion?
2.
Remnant 2 is very good. I will say Starfield for me, I'm slowly souring on it because my 80 hour.
It seems like everybody's
my
that.
80 hour review on Starfield was an 8.
I'm just saying.
Oh yes, I know it's sold. That's fine, but I'm just saying
clearly the millions. Let me stop. Let me continue. I'm being messy.
I know you guys are. You're always
messy.
Sorry. No, but it was that. I was between a 7 and an 8, and that eventually now I would probably put a 7 on it as opposed to an 8 because my 80 hours I was okay, I'd come up with something really good, kind of finished up, and I was okay, I'm kind of in a pretty good spot. The longer I played, more bugs happened, kind of got repetitive. It kind of went down for me, and then as I think about Lies of P, for me the combat per se. There are things about Lies of P and it depends on if you really like the RPG side of what Lords of the Fallen and say a Dark Souls 3 will do, see? Or if you want just really, really tight combat, and the combat in Lords of the Fallen is more open, you've got different options to it and stuff like that, but that melee combat that is just precise and just, for being a studio that's not really put out any other games, they did a damn good job with the combat, and that's... And that's where I was
their last game, Neo was. They did a Skull the Hero Slayer, which was a roguelite that I think I also gave a 9. I reviewed that game as well. So I've reviewed every game Neo has ever put out.
All 2 of them. But yeah, for me,
I think it's 2.
For me, that's slowly come up in my mind of just man, I really love that combat, and playing Lords of the Fallen is making me really enjoy just the feel of the combat. Lords is I had a flail and now I've got a mace, and then you can have magic, which can get busted. You got the whole RPG piece, which is going to be, it's a completely different feel. But just when you get into a boss fight and I'm you do a roll, the roll in Lords of the Fallen, depending on what it is, you feel like you're doing a gymnastic dive. It's a little farther. And then, I don't know. I was just, when I played through Lies of P, the combat felt right. It's the best way I can describe it. It was fair, but it was tough, and it kicked my ass a couple of times. But when I got it right, it's I died, and then I was now I have 4 heals left and I beat the boss. It's when you get it right, the game is, you can get it very right, and that was just one of those pieces about the game I really enjoyed, and especially I think I'm appreciating it more as Lords is a little more all over the place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I definitely share your sentiments with Starfield. I feel like the first 20 hours of Starfield was like a 6 out of 10 for me, where I was just dealing with all the problems of that game.
Mhm.
And then the middle like 50 hours after that were like 8 out of 10. And then after 120 hours, I played, I think, 200 hours of that game when all was said and done. And it dropped down to like a 7 for me because just the issues sort of, I don't know, you start to fall out of, you run out of things to do and like the main stuff, and all the peripheral content around the main faction storylines and the main story are really like not very engaging or fun at all. It's like
well, then I think Cog has been joined as New Game Plus, like Starship Enterprise. I've heard you talk about that. I know you are. I heard.
Like, I love it. This game is fire to me. Like, it's not perfect, it's flawed, but I do not agree with both of you. But
here, I'll let you guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
No, it's just.
Are you doing just main stuff, or are you doing?
I've done everything.
I just don't know. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
How much you've put into it.
All factions, Crimson Fleet, which I love. The New Game Plus, I just love the extra dimension. Oh, but I got to be careful because a lot of people ain't playing here. So I would just say, the New Game Plus, that curveball with what happens and the way you are received. I'm just going to put it that way. I like that aspect. I think what happened with me is Starfield is just so bad at onboarding, and the UI I feel is terrible, that what happens is that, like, put it this way, Travis, this is how I know it's Starfield's fault, because someone had to tell me, this is how bad Starfield's onboarding is. Someone had to tell me that in space, I didn't know you could hold B and go back to my ship in space and walk around. I thought you had to go into a port, you had to land, and then you get the prompt that says board, dock, whatever. Like, it is just mind-boggling to me that they don't feel the need to tell you these core basic things. And I think if you play it and have these experiences, this is going to sour you like completely. Yeah. So I think that is one of it. And then, of course, I'm not going to sit there and say the game don't have any technical issues. But I think for me, when the love affair really started was New Game Plus. I'm a crew-oriented, I call it my Star Trek build, where I got my leadership skill very high, so I can have like 5 or 6 people on. Mm-hmm. Then I'm doing the shipbuilding and the outpost and the addictive natures in conjunction with the emergent quest, this main storyline, which I do love. I know you guys were not as high on it, but the game really ramped up for me. Like when you said it was going through the 8 period for you, it stayed there for me when it came down to like, damn, I can't spoil because some people have not played.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. But yeah, like for me, the part
when the threat came, when the threat came,
the best part of that game is like when you're doing the main story and the side quests. But then after that, there's not really like I think all of their go to this planet and like find something to do on the landmarks. Right. Like the procedurally generated stuff is like super boring. And
I'm with you.
There's not even really there's not even really reasons to do it because you go there and it'll be like 6 bad guys hiding out in an abandoned factory,
one in the cave,
mid loot, and you're like, why did I come out here? So like I feel like a lot of the stuff to do after you've done that, and then New Game Plus kind of took the
TSMI. I didn't even know you could do that in space. See, I know people don't know. I'm sorry. You're like, word, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no, there's a million things. I think after 120 hours, somebody told me that you can actually go to the cargo hold as like a little monitor on your ship.
On the ship on the side.
What I was doing was I was going to my inventory and then tabbing over to my cargo hold, and I was trading back and forth. And somebody was like, "Oh, there's a little computer," and I was like, "No, there isn't." And then I was like, "Oh my god, there is! It's like tiny. You have to like point right at it." So there's a bunch of stuff the game doesn't explain to you, even if you play it a long time. But yeah, my issue with it was more that like after you've done the main campaign and all of the faction quests, which I think all of those are great, like they're so good, but then you run out of stuff. And then New Game Plus took the wind out of my sails because they take all your shit. It is not really a New Game Plus if you have to start over.
Keep your skills.
Your skills. I mean, to be honest, the skill grind is the worst part, but like have it not like I put 3 million credits into my ship my main ship.
Oh, I feel your
and
pain.
I lost all that, and I was just
yeah. I feel your pain there.
bruh.
I feel your pain there. That's
What?
rough. That's right. Especially if you seem like a ship guy, like I am a ship guy, and
I'm a ship guy too. And I put all my time into making a fleet of 10 super badass ships, and I lost them all. And I was like, what?
I feel you.
Yeah, and then the new game plus ship they give you is super mid too. You can't really do anything with it.
It's cool, but it's mid. I'm with you there. Like it is very mid. So look at AIDS. Nice to see Travis shows up for this show.
Yeah, so the story is I have to wake up at 7 a.m. to attend his show, and for whatever reason, I put my phone on the wireless charging port, and it just didn't. I guess the angle wasn't right or whatever. It didn't do the contactless charging, so my phone died, and I did not wake up. And I showed up to the show, Ains. Okay, I was just an hour and 45 minutes late.
Clock? Ains got you late?
Yeah, I know. Ains is the toughest boss. The toughest boss I've ever had who's paid me $0 for my work. He's a real slave driver for a dude who pays you in exposure.
Even if you volunteer, you're going to do it right.
As we've been talking about today, you got Travis late, and then got his 4 times, which y'all going back and forth.
Hey, I was late. I was there after 1 hour and 45 minutes. That's extremely late, but that's most of the show.
I was going to say, is
but
the show over at that point? Like they're not ILP,
no,
so like
there.
you're at least you're not in the beginning of the show at 1 hour and 45 minutes. That's the end of most shows.
I was there at the very end of the show. I did a cameo appearance. Yeah. That's your halftime. Yeah, that's
not even halftime for you guys.
Yeah,
that might be getting to know the guests.
Getting to the
hour and 45 minutes. Be like, all right, now that we know our guests, let's talk about the news of the week.
First topic now.
Yeah, first topic. That's
no doubt.
Y'all are hilarious. What did I miss? Sorry, I just had a phone call from my mom.
You guys, you were finishing. We're talking the rest of your game of the year because
What are your game of the years, Cog? What's on your list? If you had to pick top 5,
I'm the contrarian. I'm a Starfield guy.
I mean, if you
I am the guy. I'm the target audience all the way. Like I love it a lot.
And your Bethesda ways.
Yeah, I'm one of the people that like Final Fantasy 16. I'm really contrarian today. I guess I'm really all over the place.
I've heard good things about Final Fantasy 16, so I don't think you're like
I like
out
that.
here or anything.
I'm not the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom guy as much. I kind of fell off of it pretty quickly. Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is up there. Gotta give Baldur's Gate. If Baldur's Gate get it, can't even like that game is amazing. I'm probably like 1/3 through, but it's been so damn long.
I don't think I'm gonna get time to touch that this year, but I think there's no way that's not in the running for even like Game Awards, if not taking it for a lot of places.
And then obviously Spider-Man 2 comes out this week. I'm gonna try that. Mario Wonder, I'm hearing. Oh, Travis with the head shake. Wait, hold on. What happened? I feel some IGN. You got me the 8?
It's an 8. Yeah, it's fine. It's like the same thing with Liza P. Like it's great, but it's just more of the last game. And like if you like that, it's awesome. But like for me, game of the year is what game is pushing this industry forward the most. And Spider-Man 2, it comes nowhere close. I would actually say even whatever. They come for me. Last week, I was a PlayStation fanboy because I didn't like Starfield as much as them.
Yeah, they was bad.
Look, I hate all of the platforms equally, except for PC. I hate PC even more. But yeah.
I was about to kick you off the show. Continue.
PC sucks. I would say like easily, even Starfield, even if you hate it, I think it meets my criteria more of trying to push the industry forward. It does new stuff. It tries new things. I don't think it's successful at enough of those to be game of the year.
That's fair.
But Baldur's Gate 3, absolutely.
What's yours? Baldur's Gate?
Baldur's Gate is probably number 1 right now, which I've only played 60 hours of that game, so I don't even know.
Only 60 hours. That's like Act 1 for you.
Yeah. Dude, it's like I'm not even close to done with Act 1. I don't know how. I don't know where the time goes with that game. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is on the list. I'll probably put Diablo 4 on the list.
I was just about to say, how we feel about Diablo?
Yeah.
I feel like
I still think Diablo 4 is a great game. They just they're like all live service games. It's up and down, blah blah blah. I think Remnant 2 will probably be on my game of the year list.
Yeah, you like some Revenant.
I really like that game a lot. I mean, I put so much time into that game. I don't know. I'd have to think about some of the other ones, but there's just been so many good games this year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What's your contenders right now? If you had to narrow it down,
I don't see you, dude.
Mortal Kombat is amazing.
So good. Mortal Kombat 1 is
man. I
so
feel
good.
like I've got to like eventually play all those stories. You guys do not like, and I've heard great things about the stories.
Me. You got Cocoon. I haven't tried. I saw
that's
you
on my
raving
list.
about Cocoon.
Cocoon damn near might be a 10 for me. Like I think it might like I'm between a 9 and a 10, but I'm like, it's not the longest game, but none of those ever have to be because I'm like, I finished and I was like, that's perfect. Like I don't need more. It doesn't need to get crazier. I was like, that is where you stop this game. Like it was. So Cocoon is easily on my list.
No Sea of Stars.
If I can play it, I guarantee it'd be on there. Like if I can play Sea of Stars, I haven't played it yet. Right now, Lies I think might be on there along with depending on where my list is at. I'm just saying like I'm looking through what I've played.
Lies is major.
I really enjoyed Lies combat. I mean, it kicked my ass, but it like I enjoyed like the way when I would figure out a boss and then like I'm like, oh, I only have 6 heals this time or however many I've got, and then I'm like, I get done and I've got like 4 left. I'm like, I just had to do it right. And it's just like when a game is that good, it's not just like, oh, here's the cheap move I got to heal myself through. It's like that wasn't. I don't ever have like cozy games on there, but Dave the Diver was that little one that I was just like, I wanted to play more. I didn't get to finish Dave the Diver, but I could totally like put another 5 or 10 hours into the sushi simulator on that one.
Dave the Diver might be on my list. I was thinking shouting it out, but that game, it's not anything you're ever expecting. It's just so good,
and it's got some turns, man. It's a fun one. I played Dredge, good little game. I don't know if it was like probably an 8. I don't know if it's quite my game of the year, but it was a fun little game. Jedi Survivor might be on mine, even with like
Jedi. We forgetting about Jedi.
So
Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor deserves to be on the list. It is so underrated.
I think it's on. Yeah, so like Cocoon, Remnant 2, Lies, Dave, Jedi. That's a 5-ish right now.
And honestly, I've played a little bit of Spider-Man 2, a little bit of Super Mario Wonder. I honestly think Alan Wake 2 is going to be. I think Wonder between those two, but I honestly think Alan Wake 2 is going to be even higher. I have not played any of Alan Wake, so I'm speaking totally speculatively. But everyone I know who's played it is like
crazy.
Bruh. The previews I've seen, especially when it's the Alan Wake sections, they're
very
like
excited.
They're just looking at Alan Wake 2 and like in the Alan sections, especially because there's 2 characters. Like,
dude, and I'm an Alan stan, dude. Alan Wake 1 was my shit. And that gameplay was not good.
No,
I loved that game.
I played the remaster and I was like half confused the whole time, but I was like, it seems like this time around after Control and what they've learned, Quantum Break and stuff, like this is, I think it's coming around to be. They definitely have a lot of potential going into this one, so I'm very, very intrigued.
Yeah, I think Alan Wake 2 might blow both of those games up. I don't even. Yeah,
I mean, Spider-Man 2 is probably going to be on my list. I don't have a quite like.
You're a Spider-Man guy.
I had way too much fun with both Miles and 2018. Like the DLC, like they're fun little offshoots if you want to focus on Black Cat's ass.
You're gonna be Mary Jane. You're gonna get your stealth on, Mary Jane.
I mean, you get through those sections, but honestly, like outside of the Mary Jane sections. Just flying around to Spider-Man, and then when both of those games actually got tears out of me, like live on stream, I'm sitting there going, they make damn good games, and Insomniac for me is not one that really misses. So it's like,
where would PlayStation be without Insomniac this generation?
Dude, Insomniac has been absolutely crushing it. Like, I don't even know how they do what they do. And then there's still the one that I'm even more intrigued about those, man. You tell me Wolverine. Oh, dude, because I can like the way they can handle. I forget which review I was listening to about Spider-Man, and they were saying like. Somebody was saying they like the combat more than like the Batman games. And I'm like, I can see that to a point because you have the physicality of Batman because he's strong, but you also have the webs and the tools and stuff like that. And you can go stealth as well. It doesn't have the investigation. So it's got some stuff it's missing, but the combat
writing is worse.
That's fair. It's Spider-Man. It's not going to be quite the same. That's I'll give you that. But like just the way you feel in combat when you really start putting the combos together as Spider-Man, you don't get to feel like superheroes very close often. And Spider-Man does a pretty good job of that, in my opinion. But also Mario Wonder, like I'm actually going to debate about like just setting the Switch in the living room and see if my wife will play it because I don't have enough time right now. And when I played through Odyssey, I kind of like blew past her because I was like, oh, do you want to play? And she played a little bit. Then I was like, I'd seen and done everything. So I kind of want to let her play that one. But yeah, Alan Wake 2, I'm actually intrigued. Mario RPG remake, that's a remake. So I mean, that would be a nostalgia hit for me. So that doesn't count, but that would easily be like easy, like Mario RPG remake.
You. Travis, where does Tears of the Kingdom go? And E,
oh my God, how did I forget Tears of the Kingdom?
See, I haven't played that. That would probably
Tears
be on
of the
my
Kingdom.
list.
Tears of the Kingdom is definitely on my list. In fact, I think I am going to call it now. I think it's going to be between Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. I think one of those two games is going to win. Yeah,
that's what I think.
And honestly, deservedly, both of those games are huge. And you can love like Starfield. I think Starfield tries to push some borders. You can love Spider-Man 2, but I think there's games that you really like, and then there's games that feel like they are pushing the industry forward in that year. And I don't think you could say that about a lot of the games, even though they're really good. I don't think they meet that bar. But you can't say that about Baldur's Gate or Tears of the Kingdom. Those games are like big tent poles that push the industry forward.
What was your question?
My question for you is, what happened with you and Diablo? I feel like you've cooled. Because you were going hard in the beginning, sort of.
I mean, I played a lot, made a few videos and stuff like that. I mean, as usual, it's like
something cooled you.
I mean, I was like, I can't remember the timing of what pulled me away from that specifically. It might have been. I don't know if Remnant pulled me. I didn't do season 1. I never touched season 1.
I mean, season 1, excuse me.
Yeah, I never even touched season 1. I think it was the fact that the idea was like, I worked through, I got up to like, the mid 60s or so. And then it was just the idea at that point, like, I'm going to be doing the same stuff. Yeah, I was going to be doing the same stuff over and over. And then the new season is like, and the stuff of the Malignant wasn't really appealing. So for me to jump in and make a new character and play the stuff that I'd already played, that I wasn't sure I wanted to replay to try and get up to like 80 or 100 or anything like that. Now, they've done a lot of patches to smooth out the combat.
Grind feels a lot better.
The grind is faster, I know, I've heard, and especially with the seasonal characters. So it's like 2 might be a good time to jump in. I still haven't used the fact that they made it really easy for people to accidentally use their ultimate season on season 1, and then that kind of got used up. Like, I was just like, all right, I don't want to touch it until it feels better. So that kind of thing. I think it was like I got to a point where I just fell off a little bit. What if MiHoYo bribes their fan base with a free 10 pull to become Game of the Year? Yeah, what is it? Honkai Star Rail and then Genshin Impact. Yeah, both of those is grind is way faster enjoying season 2. So it's like, again, in time, I feel like that could be a game if you jump back in for expansions, that game's actually going to feel really good. If you play it a lot, if it's your type of game, it could be fun if that's your jam, but I think like the time away will make when you come back feel better with something like an expansion as opposed to living in it all the time. And the same could be said for Destiny. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, what I played through was good. The story was like, the cinematics, like Blizzard Diablo cinematics, still just holy crap. Those are still some of the best cinematics that you actually get to watch in a game. And that final one especially was legit. And the build up going down in hell and all the stuff you worked through was very cool. And I can't wait to see if they work through what I think they might do with the DLC or expansions, because I have a hunch where that might go. But yeah, it's like afterwards, the end game just didn't hold. And that was my issue on it. It was like up through 50 and then I got through 66 or so. And I was like, I'm just kind of running the same treadmill for a while.
Oh, fair enough. I was just curious.
But yeah, it's like, if I played Tears of the Kingdom, I don't have enough time for Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate, because each of those could be like just other stuff right now.
Time.
I sleep, I walk my dogs, try and exercise some, hang out with my wife. I try and not just go goblin mode all day long every time. So that's the difference.
You need to look, priorities, man. Priorities. What's the next game on your list? You're playing entirely too much Destiny. This guy put 400 hours into Destiny this month, and he says he doesn't have time for Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I actually will say when I go back and look at Steam, some of my like Destiny in the past 2 weeks or whatever that static gives you, Destiny has been some of the lowest it's been in, like consistently lower than it has been in a while. Just playing other stuff. I mean, you can blame Ains because now I'm working on like rivals races trying to level up my car. Games for me that I'm looking at.
Thanks.
Alan Wake 2 is one I'm looking at. I got a code for something else I can't talk about, but I can go play. So it's also been like this distraction, and I also wanted to try and jump into a little of Steam Next Fest. Like I played through the demo of Jusant, or Juice, however you say that. That basically reminds me of like the VR version of Climb, just with a controller, which was like, it's fine, some cool moments, but at least it's not creepy. Like, what was the weird game, the weird physics up where everybody's just like going up the ridiculous like spiral in the sky? No, I did play some of that though. That's like Lemmings, and that's actually got some cool puzzles to it as well. Cool. Viewfinder's another one I played. Or Wayfinder, Viewfinder. The one where you have like, you can take like a photo and then you come over here and then you walk into the world. Only Up, that's the one. Only Up, like the commentary and like the voiceover, like the dialogue that happens gets all sorts of trippy and weird. Like, I'm wondering if the person who wrote the game's like depressed or intentionally writing it that way for some part of the story. It was like, that's a little weird, but also just climbing up with Jusant.
There are
like,
people who aren't depressed.
I mean, some, but yeah.
News to me.
It's been, I haven't played some of the absolute biggest games, and I still feel like I've played a lot of good games this year. And that's the way this whole year is.
Insane.
Next year, yeah, see, hella creepy. I'm gonna see me spend an evening streaming PC Builder 2. I played PC Builder 1. PC. Oh, that's fun. But no, 2024, I hope is actually lighter. I never even touched Armored Core 6. Didn't even get to my FromSoft game, so that's kind of sad. I hope 2024 is lighter so I can play any of the stuff that's passed me this year.
Insane.
I will say though, like one game when I look back on it, I played it and I sit there and I listen. So I got to ask for both of you guys. Where does Hi-Fi Rush land for you guys?
Ooh, I love Hi-Fi Rush.
Good game.
I like Hi-Fi. I forgot about it already. That's how crazy. That's how crazy this year is.
I think for me that game's like a 7, but I feel like some people are like, oh man, it's like one of my. It did some cool stuff, but it just was like it didn't quite vibe with me. I mean, it's on my list of stuff I played. Like Rogue Legacy 2, I played through all of that. That was actually pretty hella fun.
Did you beat Hi-Fi Rush?
Yeah, I beat it.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, the last
person I heard that said it didn't resonate with them. That's very interesting.
I mean, there were a couple cool moments, like there were a couple boss fights I enjoyed, but a lot of the in between was just.
Bro, the Corsica fight, the what you call it?
That's probably the one I liked.
The Wolf Gang joint? That's
what I was saying. Sure. There might be like 1 or 2 boss fights I enjoyed, but everything around the game got to be very repetitive for me. That was just me. So.
Fair enough. It's
interesting. I mean, I wouldn't put it on my game of the year list, but I thought it was really good, and it came out at a really perfect time in the year where there wasn't a lot out, and
it was like timing wise, it got changed.
Reveal from
Hogwarts Legacy, by the way.
It was
we forgot about that.
Hogwarts Legacy, crazy. Wow. I mean, that probably wouldn't be on my game of the year either, just because it's been such a competitive year. But that is a damn good game. But yeah, like Hi-Fi Rush was a stealth drop in a month where nothing was happening by a studio that doesn't make games like that. And it has like a signature weird, like this could only happen in a game, and it's super weird, and it's not like any of the like depressing and dark games that we're seeing this like this is part of what gets me about Insomniac and why, like for me, I'm not as excited about like Wolverine, is because the games I like from Insomniac are when they make weird ass games, and it seems like now they're the licensed studio that just makes Marvel games, and that's way less exciting to me than them making weird stuff.
Travis wants to see the new Strange. So. That's what Travis wants.
I want to see the new Strange. I mean, show me something new is basically my catchphrase at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you to some extent on that.
Yeah, so I that's why I appreciate Hi-Fi Rush, is because it was just something completely new out of nowhere from a studio that was taking a chance on doing something.
I understand that.
And that's why
I totally understand that. Yeah, it's like I've never played Evil Within or like other NXL games, so that's probably part of it. But
I have, and it's nothing like that game.
No, for sure. Like
they took a big gamble.
And like some of the writing and humor actually had some lines that were good, and then some didn't land, and it just kind of depended on how it all landed with you. I think on that one.
Yeah.
But I've heard I think like Blessing is like over on Kind of Funny is like one of his like he always like jumps back to that one as just like one of his favorite games of the year, and I'm kind of going, and if I feel like I am in the minority, and that's fine. I totally get it.
Yeah, that's fine. We all got our tastes. It's like the same way when you guys.
Wizard with a Gun dropped yesterday from Devolver. Endless Dungeon dropped today.
I was supposed to review that game.
Yeah. So there's too much, man.
Too many games, bro.
And we got Avatar in December. You know that's going to be in everybody's discussion.
Lol.
Might be my first Far Cry, aka Far Cry.
Far Cry.
Yeah, we talked about Destiny for like 5 minutes, and I feel like we
what's
blew
going on
past
with this
it. So the bugs apparently seem to be fixed, which is good. You got your bug armor. Warlock's got your actual bug. I think we're spiders and you're a bug. Spider armor's kind of cool. There's a UFO for a ship, and there is like a haunted carriage for a sparrow, and that haunted carriage is large. It doesn't fit on screen that well. So there's some cool ones. It feels like they went pretty hard on the Eververse this time. There's some legit looking stuff in there. I haven't bought any of it, but it does actually look pretty good. So you got your spider armor, and then you got your beetle for the warlock. I think they all turned out pretty well. So haunted sectors, the haunted sectors in harder difficulty, they're in there if you want to. Apparently you don't have to.
How's that grenade launcher?
I don't think it does anything special. I saw people had data mined it beforehand from reviews and stuff, and it feels like it's just not doing anything different. I mean, you can go craft the one from what Season of Defiance? Is that the Revenant? Is that what that's called? I'm trying to remember. It's
the was kind of mid.
Yeah, the grenade launcher just doesn't have anything setting itself apart. When you can go craft one from 2 seasons ago, if you played it, when you're totally good because it's void. It is the same. It's a void grenade.
Same.
So it just doesn't do anything to set itself apart or be worth the grind. I think Horror Story for an auto rifle can get some really high PvP setups, like really high range and stability. Kind of like if you're looking for that Horror Story feels good, that might be one to go after. If that's your jam.
And I heard 600s are going to be the jam now with the balance changes.
Yeah, seems
is it
like
600.
I don't know if it's
was it 450.
I can't remember. I don't have all that stuff memorized. So sparrows coming up in season 23. So all sparrows are going to have an option from for the old speed of like 150 or 160 versus the new speed of like 190. All sparrows are going to have the option to go 190. Also, all sparrows are going to go from 100 to 150 health to be on track with the Age of Always on Time. So if both of those are true, then my one little legendary void sparrow that has the perk where enemies don't fire at you as frequently or target you as much is my legendary version of Always on Time. So I'm actually going to end up okay because it's going to have the health and the speed. So I think I'm good. But yeah, it's like, it is kind of one of those, there are some things like, I know they have the Eververse, so you got your sparrows and you got your ships and you got your ghosts but I will say the ghost projection has got to be the most useless thing.
Yeah.
I heard somebody call that like Eververse padding, and I totally believe it. Like, oh, let me get my whatever the cosmetic engram, and you open it up and you're like, ghost projection, you're like, wasted. It's just there to pad the stats. That's all that's doing, I think. Double Nightfall rewards I said are active. So I mean, if you go do a hero Nightfall, you'll get like prisms and cores if you need them. It's match made, it's easy. No reason not to if you're looking for those currencies. Weapons exiting the pool. They're not telling us what's coming in 23, but the Buzzard final week is this week. The Swarm's final week is next week for Nightfalls, and then Trials. Astral Horizons final week will be on November 7th, and then the Immortals final week will be next week. Yeah.
I'm good. I got me in the damn.
There you go. Looks like Checkmate Rumble. That one's been going around. That one could be fun. I really need to check out Checkmate, not to mess with the words too much there.
Me too.
I've heard just a lot of people have fun with it, and it's kind of one of those I'm curious how it feels with more gunplay, less abilities. I feel like there was one other thing I meant to mention or maybe not. No, there's a tweet. I gotta find it then.
What's going on?
It's about the exotic stuff that leaked.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
that's big.
All right, so that was yesterday afternoon. Some exotic armor changes coming in season 23 were shown earlier than anticipated, and we wanted to take some moments to clarify a few things. What has been shown is not the full scope of exotic armor tuning and changes coming in season 23. The unintended preview is a small part of larger tweaks on the way for all classes that we're excited to share soon. While the description of some of the exotic armor were updated, they will still function as they did until Season 23 begins. The exception to what will function is the stuff they were actually patching, like Antaeus wards. You actually need the barricade cooldown to be active, and Ahamkar's spine is kind of just nerfed. But there are a couple that were updated. But I'm kind of wondering, just like reading between the lines, when they say a small part of the larger tweaks on the way for all classes. So I'm wondering if it's just more exotic tweaks, if they're messing with anything else. Just kind of wondering.
Yeah. And I'm very curious to see if it's a more robust list that's added to it.
Yeah. But that was the other thing. So I mean, people were doing videos about like, oh, look, it changed. Well, it's not changed, but you get to see what's coming. But apparently, it's not the whole story, kind of thing. That's where it seems to be at this point. But also going on in Destiny right now, you don't want to know about a glitch, tune out now. So
watch the new hustle, y'all.
No, this is a mess. So I heard
and pretty bad one.
Oh no, what's going on?
So the way it works is somehow, and there's a video, there's people out there. If you want to go look it up, it's not going to be hard for you to find if you know the cheese places to look. So the way it seems to work is, yeah, it is a lot of work. I'm not saying it's not, but basically what happens is you can craft a glitched weapon. Somehow you mess with crafting and you craft a glitched weapon. Then what happens is, say you have exotic engrams and then prime engrams in your inventory. You go to Rahul, you open all of those, you see what you get. If you don't like them, you walk over to the vault, you put that weapon in the vault, it error codes you, kicks you out, and also rolls your account back in time. So when you go back in, all of your engrams are there, and then you can go roll the dice again. You can use it on rolling exotics if you've got exotic engrams. People are using it in, say, Crota on Master. If they don't get they spend all their spoils of Conquests. If they don't get the rolls they want, they go to the vault, it crashes, and somehow it's going back. Like, I don't know how fast they have to be for the transition, but this is and it's like it's like you craft a broken weapon, so make a glitched weapon, and then anytime you move that thing into the vault, it just like breaks your game and somehow rolls it back, and I can't quite tell how far. Maybe it's just like the instance you're running in or something like that.
Yeah,
but it gives you the ability. People are saying, like, I mean, if you have engrams where it's like, what are the Eververse engrams? Like, if you want to try and roll
the white joints.
Yeah, if you get those like stacked up, you could try and get your like bright dust out of those, instead. Bright engrams, yeah. So you got bright engrams. People are doing that with exotics. People are doing that with spoils of conquests and raids for masters trying to get their optimal roll. So it's like there's a lot of places it actually works, which is a weird thing, because so first it's the glitched weapon, which was probably their first target to try and fix it. But then I heard Foe Tracer is good, yes. But yeah, it's just the fact that it works in so many different places. I think that's what makes this one kind of scary for what people are going after.
So basically, wow. So
just basically, re-rolling like master level rolls and exotics and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say. So you could run checkpoint on something, don't like what you get, do the glitch, run it again, and then the drop will happen again?
Kind of, yeah.
It puts you back in time.
Yeah, so like it's like it's the error is almost like an error code / rollback. So I don't know if it's of like the instance you logged in or something.
Interesting. Oh, they go eat. Hardcore.
So I mean, yeah, the people who are willing to put in the time and farm Master Crota and go nuke Crota, spend all their spoils, be like, oh, I didn't get what I really wanted. Let's try this. How'd everybody do? All right, let's go try this again, kind of thing. So that's a weird one. I don't know how some of these people figure this crap out.
Do you keep
the on swords and glaives, apparently?
Do you keep the initial roll? For example, let's say you're doing a hustle with a raid drop.
You don't keep anything.
So you don't keep any. All right. So
no.
It's like going back in time and trying again. You're retconning your own roll.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a weird rollback error. Honestly, I don't know if this is a very obvious one of kind of what you're doing. Like if they see your account getting rollbacked over and over, and I don't know what they're gonna. They tend not to do anything to players who mess with stuff that's in the game. And I know if it gets
I don't
out there
think they
wild,
can.
yeah, it's like
because it's their error. It
Right.
literally is issuing an error and kicking somebody out.
yeah, and they usually will say it's like, hey, if it's an in-game issue, it's not like you're network switching or something like that. So it's kind of one of those, but it's a weird bug. It is a very when I had it's like Cheese's videos are usually like I don't know 90 seconds. This is like longer. So
fair enough. Fair
that
enough.
one was kind of weird.
Kinda
Hog, are
weird.
you
It's
excited for
understandable.
Spider-Man? I don't think I asked you, by the way.
Yeah. I've already got the pre-order going and
Nice.
super deluxe.
Did anybody get the 19 inches of Venom?
suits. Oh, I'm not gonna answer that question because that could go so many different
That's
ways.
the whole point, man. Come on. If you got the 19 inches
how,
of Venom,
how
own
are
it.
you making me side with Ebontis right now, Mr. Christian Steve Rogers? Watch your language. Why am I on his? Why am I on his side?
Look, man, it's go. We gonna have a lot of fun with this Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? See what's going on there. Yeah, I'm excited. Looks good from what I see. I like the traversal. I like what's the movement. That little what is it? The surfing, the water surfing.
The looks cool. Yeah,
that looks cool. And I want to see how far they go with the symbiote story. Is one of my favorite stories in Spider-Man, just in general.
Especially Spider-Man 3. Great movie.
Yeah. we got to get some symbiote. I want to see how it affects them, that kind of thing. So
he agreed with me. I wasn't expecting that.
No, I know you were being ridiculous. Because I was like, that movie's terrible. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. I want to see what they do. I want to see. I'm hearing from people I trust as far as the storyline. There's some moments I want to see what they do with the storyline. Is my main thing. But it's back to the well. It's what Insomniac does. But I do. There was my fear of, and this is what I wanted to say earlier. And this is where where I'm different from UE. Whereas like the Starfield stuff, like it kind of cooled down on you. With me, I'm like, I love the attempt at different things and new stuff, and that excites me. I have to admit, with the Spider-Man and the Just Ones, I am now getting redundant with those type of games. Like it's this.
So do you not want one for Xbox?
Of course, because there's a deficiency there. But with PlayStation, it's just like, okay, this is the game. Like now when I'm hearing, okay, we're doing Last of Us 2 again.
That one I'm not like, come on.
We're doing Horizon, what you call it?
But hopefully we'll do Horizon 3.
It's like I'm hearing we're doing this stuff again. So it's like when you're going back to the well over and over, it's like I want to see PlayStation do something. There's a part of me that's excited for PlayStation doing live service. I want to see what that
new
looks
stuff.
like. Like now I'm getting tired of just one just for them all the time. Yeah. And they tell amazing stories. They're great. Well, I have my tearjerker moment, but that's why I'm like loving stuff. I'm still playing and I'm having so much fun and I'm discovering new things, and there's things that people have experienced that I'm not experienced and vice versa. I just did a spoiler cast and we were just amazed at 4 things that none of us knew. And I was just like, wow, like really this, you guys experienced that? And I told them something I experienced. They were like, yo, I didn't even know that was possible. So that's where I'm at. I like weird, new, different. And even if it's flawed, I appreciate that more right now than it's like, okay, we're going to do New York again. We're going to have fun. We're going to do Miles. It's going to be great. But I'm starting to get, it's like the formula is getting a little redundant to me for them. I just want to see Sony do some other stuff.
Yeah, we're going to swing all the way to the other side with like 10 live services at the same time and see what sticks to the wall, like throw a bunch of pasta at the wall and see what sticks. But yeah, I mean, I understand that. I do.
Especially the remakes, bro.
The remakes aren't necessary. I get, and especially like Last of Us 2
is Spider-Man games in one generation.
No, like I 100% like the way the meeting went. If Last of Us 2 remake is real, which everything seems to be pointing that way, if that is actually what they're working on, which seems real dumb because that doesn't, it was literally barely between like PS5, like that doesn't seem to be necessary. But it was like, so you put all this money into factions. Bungie came in, by the way, I don't know like how that all went down or
talk about that. Yeah, we have to talk about
that. Bungie came in and said factions is not going to hold people for a while. So you invested this money. Now this isn't this money. So from a business decision, this is corporate cog. This is them saying, we're going to make you do something, that
Facts.
pays bills for a while. That is all that
Absolutely.
is, and I'm not a fan either.
That
That is exactly how that went down.
The movie's out. They want to promote.
Oh, I know. If you get
what's
season
going
2 of the show and the writers come back, and if there's going to be part 2 and 3 of the season, that'll kind of coincide with everything that's going on. Probably with like maybe part 3, however the like filming goes. Yes, I get it. I'm sure they had good sales. All that stuff is there. But no, it's like I would love to see like Naughty Dog for storytellers too. I mean, if you think about, I mean, you got Last of Us, you've got Uncharted, and just like the cinematic experience moments. I mean, you had a train sequence that was like almost copied into a movie.
Mhm.
So it's like they make really iconic moments. But yeah, I'd like to see their next IP. I really would.
Yeah,
I'm with
that's
them
where
as
I'm
well.
at.
That's
That's where
part
I'm
of
at,
why it's
yeah.
like, if I know Insomniac is doing like the license stuff, and I totally get that.
Right.
Wolverine is just a very different character that I haven't ever seen done well. And if they can lean into like a Logan type story, a little older, a
that'd be
little
amazing.
grittier, if they
That
go
movie was great.
mature, if they go,
Mm.
if Insomniac departs from like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to an old gritty Logan, all like mature rated game,
Mhm.
I do want to see that transition. That's why I think
Right.
I'm excited
Go for
about
that.
that, but I get the
Go for that.
license piece as well, where it's
Mhm.
like, and here's another superhero game. So
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I just feel like with the remake stuff, I just feel we need to miss you more before.
Oh, yeah,
like,
no, this is too
Bloodborne
soon.
deserves that.
Bloodborne
this is
100%,
way too soon.
please.
Yeah.
Give me, I mean, that's why I like Lies of P so much. Is probably the closest thing I'll get to a Bloodborne 2, maybe ever. And that might be
I think
why it
that's
hit so
people-
hard.
Yeah, that's why people like it. Oh, Travis,
Don't need a
yeah.
Bloodborne too. Don't need it. Industry's moved far
Okay.
beyond Bloodborne. Just forget it.
Well, I would still like to see a Bloodborne that runs at 60 frames per
Nah.
second.
Nah, you're good. Let's just move on. We got other stuff we can do
Let's
with the
just
gaming
move on.
world.
Okay, well, if somebody
Well, then-
like Nix's could take Bloodborne 1 and polish it up to like a PC port, I would probably play that because it would run well if Nix's got done with that port, as opposed to what Lords of the Fallen is trying to do right now and not running well. So there's a balance in who's putting the Souls game out there. That's all I'm saying.
You could also just do a good game.
And not
That
call it
also runs
Bloodborne.
well.
Yeah, that's fine. Like
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
Bloodborne could really go.
But no, like I
Examples.
didn't play the remake
They
of
can
part
come.
1.
What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
Well, like I
It's a
didn't play the
rabbit base.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
like
yeah,
the remake of like Last of Us 1, I didn't play like the part 1 because I was like, I'm good. And then like
Same.
part 2, I'm like, that's way too fresh. I just got done with that whole ending, like mental trait, like
Mhm.
draining. Like, I'm like, I don't need to do that again right now. Now, if you do a part 3, 1, I thought you were done with 1. The fact that 2 got away with what it did is another thing because that actually kind of worked, in my opinion, at least. And then 3, I'm like, that's I said, everybody's gonna have different opinions. I thought you might, but I don't think you need to do a 3 and
Not
stop with the
always.
remakes. Of course you do. That's
Did
your,
you need to do it too?
No, I never said you did.
Two technically didn't have to happen.
2 didn't have
Did
to
we?
happen,
Did we
but
need to have?
I feel like 2
Mostly-
actually kind of worked. Like it impressed me more than I thought it would with 2 because I was going in and I was like, because it is the main 2, and I'm not going to spoil anything about whatever happens later, but
Right.
I was like, the way they handled it was something I didn't expect, and I think that the surprise is what I enjoyed about it, playing from a different perspective, you could say.
Mhm.
And there were moments in that were just like really, really well done. Space shuttle sequence, for example, is one.
That sequence was good, but I think that people really, really are waxing philosophic about a very boring story that teaches you the really important moral of revenge is bad, which of course is very deep and hasn't been done before in any other medium. Did we not say all we needed to say in The Last of Us? Must we go tropical?
Listen, I'm in the middle with both of y'all because I hear what E is saying in the sense that for Travis philosophically, it didn't need to exist. You could have told a perfect story part 1 and it was done.
Oh, it was done. Like the end of
2,
1 is great.
Even though I didn't feel it was necessary, I don't feel it was bad. I saw what they were trying to do, but I think where I wanted to go with this is just that I wanted to go with factions and I wanted to go with like I really wanted to see that.
What that was in
And-
my head could have been very cool, and I was like, we'll
Right.
never see it now. It feels like.
And I that's really for Trav because I'm like, what do you? Because there's a lot of pushback right now. I'm hearing 2 camps where it's like, Bungie's obviously they're going to survey the live service over there. They said, hey, we don't think this model necessarily is good for engagement. And, I guess, I don't know if it's them put the kibosh officially or Sony.
Not everything has to be about
kibosh.
engagement either.
Right. So what's your feeling
live
like?
Service kind of does, though.
Well, I get
right.
it.
So
yes.
do you feel,
game can't
Trav,
exist without it?
do you feel like Bungie, based on, we don't know what the details of it, but is that okay? Like if Bungie say, hey, that's not really it, you're trusting them on that? Or do you think the opposing thought, which is like, well, it's Naughty Dog, even if it was average, it still should come out, we should still see what it is? Like, where you sit with that?
I don't think Naughty Dog has ever proven that they can make a multiplayer game that is good.
You, my brother, I'm with you on this.
And I wouldn't have put them on that project or made them waste their time doing it unless the studio was really passionate about it. Look, I'm all for studios doing things that their studio isn't known for if they're really passionate about it. We got Hi-Fi Rush from a studio that probably wouldn't have made that game. We got Grounded from Obsidian, which has never made a survival game. But it doesn't sound like their heart was in it. And if you look at their past Naughty Dog multiplayer projects, I would describe them as mediocre at best. And I'm glad I didn't have to see that game come out. Factions. It also sounds like a terrible universe to put a multiplayer live service game in, frankly. It kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like when the Fortnite-ification of everything that's happening now, where Destiny's got to have God of War armor in it because there's corporate synergy.
Oh, here he goes.
Here we go.
Magic the Gathering's got to have Doctor Who cards. You know what I mean? Like it's like everything wants to be Fortnite, and I get that that's cool for Fortnite because Fortnite is like a pinata barfing out glitter. You know what I mean? Like that's its entire brand, and that's fine. But not everything needs to be that. And I think the worst IP for that chaotic live service thing is Last of Us. Like, just don't. We don't need to see that. Some things are best left dead. Okay, and I think this is one of them. I'm not crying over the loss of this. This game
do you feel it was, it should still come out? It doesn't need to be, because they just didn't feel it was sustainable, I guess, or
yeah. I mean, it sounds like the engagement wouldn't be there. I mean, part of me is just curious to see what they were trying to do. Like, I'd love to see just the beta to understand, like, what were you going conceptually? Was it like a big open like city? I mean, if you were going to say like, hey, you have a lot of that Boston area to go run around that you're running around or whatever, you take one of the cities to mess around in. It could be interesting. I don't know how the mechanics you do it. I don't know if they were going to go for like an extraction or is it a battle royale or is it just like multiplayer with big maps? If they go back to Factions of the other one where you had like, or it might have been Uncharted where you had like the whips and you were swinging back and forth on stuff like, there's
call it the Division.
I mean, that's kind of what you almost get to a little bit, but
yeah, I said call it the Division, Cog.
Oh, the Division. I didn't hear it. Okay, I was like, what did he say?
Yeah. Their ideas basically already exists. It's called the Division.
Yeah,
but the kind of didn't embrace like zombies though. That's why I was like, part of me was like,
oh yeah, that's true. I mean,
but then again, it probably
guys in hoodies. I don't know.
Yeah, guys with the hoodie. But then to your point, it'll probably be human versus human, and I was assuming unless they was going to have some third player bot element with zombies in between it. But the reality is, it's probably human versus human.
Probably guys in hoodies.
And good and hoodies and
doing grabbing scrap and crafting shivs. I don't know, dude. What would that game even be like? I cannot think of a worse IP.
Mine's
some
more
people really like the first one. The multiplayer.
There was some popularity to Factions.
It's bad. It's not good.
Oh, mine's more of a curiosity of what they were trying to do. Like, what about was it just like, hey, here's a multiplayer mode to a game? The fact that it was going to be its own single player release, you get to the point where multiplayer at this point, if you're going to charge for it, which they probably would want to do, or if they went free to play, is the only way you're probably going to get a player base. If it's PlayStation exclusive, you limit your play. Like, there's a lot of questions to answer.
You're the reason we opened Pandora's box.
Oh,
your curiosity, I'm okay. Somebody tells me there's this box you can't look in. I'd be like, that's fine. I didn't really want to see what was in that box anyway. How cool could it be? I'll leave Pandora's box closed. There's joy in not knowing you.
There's joy in not knowing what it is.
I mean, and again, we doesn't seem like we will, which is fine, and just have to see.
We will. It'll get leaked. Wait
Yeah.
for it.
I mean,
It'll
that
get
might-
leaked.
That,
yeah.
that might happen
I'm
later.
dying to know.
You don't think Jason Schreier's not working up an
Oh,
article
yeah,
right
yeah,
now
yeah,
about
yeah.
factions?
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
definitely.
More
Yeah,
sources
yeah.
in the gaming industry than I've ever seen. It's
I agree.
crazy.
And is
Rebecca
there
Valentine's on the case. She's
Yeah.
got faction story
He puts
coming
out
up.
some
I don't know.
hell of
and
work.
is there resentment? Because let's be honest, it's like Bungie's the new step kid, in PlayStation Studios that's allowed to stay out late past 10 p.m. They don't have the same rules as the other kids in the house.
Your metaphors sometimes crack me up, by the way. It's just like
he's right though.
No,
That's a
no, I
great way
mean,
of putting it.
no, it's hilarious though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're wrong. I just think
It's
they're
like this
funny.
new family member that your pop and mom adopted. They don't have any rules apply to them that everyone else, and they oversee all the other kids' work and get approval from mom and
it's
dad
like, I think
on
that
how
was,
it's gonna go.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's like, yes, Bungie has figured out engagement. Now, this is also me when I would be like, I would love to see Bungie's numbers to understand, like, financially.
Yeah.
You got Eververse, you got cosmetics that cost too much, you've got season passes,
Mhm.
you've got dungeon keys. I'm like, does all this? I'm trying not to curse here. Does all work? Does all that stuff work? I'm like, and again, there are a whole lot of consumers that, well, it's like, and then there are a lot of consumers that are not like a lot of the people who listen to the show and, a little more, and they're just like, sure, I'll buy this, that, the other, but I'm also like, or at some point, is Bungie bleeding players to a slow level and then final shape? Our episode's going to do anything? Like, what is their future like? Do they, at this point, have the ground to stand on to judge someone else?
I mean, I gotta push back. I mean, this
No,
is
I'm not saying
10 years in the
No,
game.
no,
How long they've been doing it?
You didn't let me finish.
I'm sorry.
So the
I
question
get
is,
his point.
yeah, it's like, do they have the ground to stand on? They've been doing it for a while. Are they in the best state at this moment? Is what you were saying? Like, it feels like Destiny 2 is kind of like, but again, what are they working on with Marathon? What is the plan there? What are they working on for the other IP we don't know? Is there a D3 in the future? Any and all of those questions may be a thing, but they do understand engagement to a point, but also is like, if they see factions, people are like, either you're going to ask people to pay for this thing and that ain't going to happen, or they're going to boot it up. Most people are not going to play it, and you're already competing in a very full space. That's the hard thing with any multiplayer right now between COD and Valorant and anything else that's like, or Apex. Like, you've got big battle royales that take people's time. You're going to have something like a Tarkov. You're going to be going, like, cannibalizing part of your base with like a Marathon and then 10 other live services between Contraband and Foam Stars and whatever else is just going to continue to live. The weird thing about Foam Stars cracks me up. The people I've heard that played it had fun.
I
And
heard people love it. I
heard people
did hear
had
that.
fun. I'm like, okay, I'd
did
laughed
hear
my
that.
butt off at that trailer. But anyway, it's just kind of, we're in a weird place to where like, everybody wants to do live service because they want like a little piece of everybody's dime, but there's only so many hours that each person is going to be able to contribute to the live service. So at some point you're going to start
zero-sum game.
you're going to be pulling from, hey, I'm over here. Well, I'm pulling from another Sony property over here. Well, why are you?
Yeah.
So it's
every game wants you to play it for the rest of your life, and that's not,
that's a
and
fact.
you can't do it.
yeah. So I get what you're saying, Ian. I've definitely had like people question that before in the past on Twitter and whatever about like, oh, does Bungie actually know what they're talking about? Look at Destiny. Fair enough if you look at Destiny now. But my thing is, I don't think that the people they're asking are the people who are working on Destiny. And I don't think those people have been working on Destiny for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the brain drain. That's why Destiny feels bad, is because the people who are making Destiny right now are not the experts at live service. They're either working on Marathon or they're helping advise these other companies. And I think those people do know what they're talking about. And so I think PlayStation, first of all, PlayStation is so far from understanding how to do a live service game. Even if Bungie was in its worst, even if Bungie was in its worst state, it would still be 50 times better than what PlayStation's done. I don't even know if PlayStation has figured out online games yet. I mean, all of their online.
You disrespectful that.
I mean, they're all third party.
They don't know how to do online.
Name one first party online game.
I mean,
from Sony.
Well, I was gonna say on the other side of the coin, you've got the
name one
like Forza, which is gonna get off to a slow start. You've got Halo that is now good in season 5. Like, live service is not easy for anybody. Is the whole point.
No facts.
Yeah,
and Diablo even like dropped the mat. Like, everybody was like, "Oh, Diablo's gonna be this big success for a long time, 10 years in the." Like, there was a point where I sent Rick Kakis a picture that Raid Shadow Legends and Diablo had the same Twitch viewers. Like, that should not happen.
A cliff. I'm looking at least I look at Xbox most played right now. It ain't even in top. Party Animals is over here. I don't even see Diablo.
No,
Like,
I mean, if you go
that's
look on,
crazy.
yeah, you can go look on Twitch. Twitch is
So
funny to see
clearly
how
the
many people
base-
are watching.
The masses are not. Starfield is number 6, single player, no multiplayer, no transactions. Like that, something happened to Diablo where the base has rebelled. I don't know what.
I know what happened. Yeah, because I've been covering Diablo. So
Mhm.
what happened was they shook the jello before it set, which is like one of the cardinal sins of live service is when
Mhm.
people jump into your game for the first time, they're finding ways to make fun. And if
Yeah,
you
Division did that a
shake
little
the
bit.
jello before it sets, then you basically it seems to the players like you're hiding the fun from the players, like you're trying to like move it right. Oh, you're having fun, let me put it under the couch. And they made that cardinal sin. They debuffed a whole bunch of stuff that was in the game, and then the grind wasn't good, the end game wasn't set up right. So even though the content was good and I think the gameplay was great and the campaign was awesome, I just think they didn't get the feedback loop correct. And I think that they've corrected that because season 2, I mean, they very clearly learned from their mistakes. They're patching stuff. They're trying to make classes feel better. And I think they're letting things be a little lopsided for longer before they just decide that it needs to be patched out. So,
no, I'm
with
you.
My point is,
Finish your point. I'm sorry.
PlayStation doesn't know what they're doing with live service. So even if Bungie was in its worst state, they're still valuable for PlayStation. And I don't think the people that are advising them are the people currently working on Destiny anyway. And I think Destiny feels kind of bad because it's a junior team doing their best. But it's not, the top brass at Bungie.
Right.
That's just
it could be a marathon.
That's the sense I get from it. Yeah.
I'm in 100% agreement with pretty much everything you said, which is, I think the problem is with a lot of the people who love Naughty Dog is that they can do no wrong. They are the creme de la creme. And that is the case in the single player aspect. But just because you make great single player games does not mean that's going to translate over in the multiplayer.
You can be a good movie director, but you're not going to go build a video game. Yeah, it's
and exactly the point Travis said, which is that
although the guy at Naughty Dog wants to become a movie director, it seems.
Oh, Neil Druckmann?
Really?
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
Neil,
yeah.
That's what it seems like he's angling for. He's parroting Hollywood with all of his games.
And for people who hate Destiny and say, Bungie's not the people to be telling anybody because look at the state of Destiny. Again, all I tell people is look at the longevity of engagement. Live service is this. This is live service.
Oh, but on one of their worst years, they're better than almost any other game that's ever tried. They're the only one that's still alive. Like, absolutely.
I'm looking at them right now.
They understand stuff we all don't.
Also, I wouldn't take the recommendation from a bunch of PlayStation fans who don't play online games.
Right. and I look at daily active users, monthly active users, and I'm looking right now, and we're considering Destiny bad right now, right? We're all like, hey, we're waiting for the final shape or whatever it is. I mean, Season of the Witch was good. There's still, again, I look at top 15. I'm looking at one platform. This is not PlayStation. Yeah, it's still, I'm like, wow, it's still doing that well. And then again, I look at Diablo, I look at these other games, they're not even the top 50. So again, there's something that Bungie knows, even though we attack them for the little shiesty tactics and stuff like that, they know how to keep someone coming back, regardless of what it is.
No, using Yiddish.
No, shiesty. I was like, that word, I don't hear that very often. It's just funny.
They know shiesty Yiddish.
Our boy is speaking Yiddish.
Huh? They know how to,
because you're a schlemiel, all right? You know that, Cog?
I love when I get the terms.
No, I mean,
that's what it is.
Yeah, you go check Steam charts, and it's like whether it's 8 with an expansion, or it's 15, or it may be like 22. Top 25 for a decade, nothing does that. Like they do have, and that's again why me as somebody
Counter-Strike.
Okay, I mean Counter-Strike, League of Legends. Like again, it's not a big.
There's a couple.
It's not a big group that does it. Is all I'm saying. So they are in rare air, but that's also one of those. That's why I wonder. I'm like, I look at their pricing model. I'm like, it hurts my brain to tell anybody to play this, but. There's a CFO somewhere that says this stuff is working. It is paying the bills. It's building new campuses. Like, and that's why for me, it's like, that's when I ask him, like, please try and balance the butt ton of money that you're making with like the experience that your player gets sometimes. Like, I understand you're a business. You want profits. Cool. Get it. Sometimes the experience is going to be so bad it can take away from that. And that's part of where, like, long term, I hope they don't. push you too
Yo.
far into that moment. That's all. Addiction
Lil
model.
Frost, they've mastered the addiction model. It's true. They know how to keep us addicted. It's true.
Well, that's why I'm actually curious about episodes. Like, if you can play, like, I want to play for a hard week for like episode 1, part 1, and then take the break 5 weeks, go play another game. You go like and you dabble here and there, and then you get that next story injection 6 weeks later, and you play that like 1 week of Destiny, and then you get like 5 weeks off. Like, if that's a way you can keep people coming back, they're in the game for a solid week, they play a little more.
Yeah.
That will feel good. I think actually almost like more refreshing. That's where I'm kind of like, if they can deliver on those. Shout out to 3 Geeks, by the way, with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And enjoy those, everybody. 3 Geeks is legend.
I don't know if I agree with the addiction model comment, just because I think you're selling short what Bungie has done with live service, which is that they wrote the literal rule book on how to do live service, and now everybody copies them. Like Diablo has the exact same model as they do. Fortnite based their
and all that,
Fortnite based their model off of Bungie's. Like they know their shit. They invented it, and they did it through trial and error. It's not like they were just good at it day one. Like Destiny sucked that first year, dude. Like they had to work their way through the mud to get to where they're at. And I think now there's no excuse for newcomers to the space. Like, if you come, you better be raring to go. You better have your content model set up. There's no room for Halo Infinites in the live service model. Like, you know, your year of pain. I think, to Diablo's credit, like, they did come ready to play. I think they screwed up some of the initial debuffing and kind of patching things out, but I think those numbers will come back. I think they'll have their Taken King moment, because they're very much set up for success, and their game is good, which is key. I mean,
which is key. You're absolutely right. They've been through the trial and error. They've been through the forge, through the mud. And the thing that I try not to, because I feel like I always I'm different. This is like, last one's the only podcast where I feel like I don't have to be defensive about Bungie and Destiny, and that they're good, and that, like, yo, bro, like, when it comes to gunplay and way the game feels and shoots and plays, that's part of the addiction. That's part of that core essence that a lot of people don't do well, combined with what Travis is saying. It's like they've had that experience through trial and fire and error, where it's like they have built this, and now when we look at like the Halo Infinites or, you know, Diablos or Divisions and stuff like that, you've got that one window to make that impression. And when you're that new game on the block, you're call it the challenger brand. You gotta nail it. And then you got to kind of listen to that feedback. And I feel what happens is these devs get a little too, we know what daddy knows what's best energy. And they kind of sabotage their own greatness. And then the player base kind of pushes back. But I'm with you, though. I do think Diablo can come back. That game is just too good on a core level. On a core level.
I think it's going to. And like, if you say that it can't, like, I will, might I show you Destiny Year 1, dude? Like, that game was, I mean, that game was like a Colts game but it was not. I mean, I gave it a 6 out of 10, and I stand by that. Like, that first year was 6 out of 10 material.
We don't have time to explain what we don't have time to explain.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And Diablo has never been that bad. Like, even when its end game grind was off, like, that game has been good from the beginning. So
had a great start.
I will to push back on Cog agreeing with me for some reason. I will say, I do think that they do rest on their laurels, and they're ace up their sleeve of, we have good gameplay, because that they do have good gameplay. That is true, but they inherited that. And I do think that they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder with their gameplay, and I don't think that that's going to bail them out forever. And I think we really started to see that backslide, because even in Lightfall, right, they still had good gameplay, but nobody was talking about the good gameplay, because they're like, dude, we've seen your good gameplay for 8 years. This expansion's bad. So I think Bungie is finally at the tipping point where good gameplay isn't enough for them. Like, they're going to need to deliver in the final shape, or people are going to fall off their game hard. And I think they already have in Lightfall to some extent. So I want to push back a little bit, because I just want Bungie to know, like, hey, like, if you're listening, Bungie, like,
if you mess up, we out.
You're running a little low on
or faith credit,
goodwill,
The
goodwill.
fuel.
You know what I mean. Like it.
No, fair.
Yeah,
fair.
your game has this expansion has to be good. If it's not, I really worry about Destiny's future.
Lightfall and the subsequent, since the acquisition, there's been and we got to be real about it, right? So that's what's getting them in trouble. When I saw the lash out recently by the community, I was just like, man, like this is before Blackburn came out with the address. Remember, like it was bad.
Oh, I
like,
mean,
people,
GCX, the state of the game was not what people wanted to hear. They put a weird state of the game out before they did their big reveal for Final Shape, which was just poorly timed. You put a state of the game out when everybody at GCX went and just like stewed on it for a weekend and nothing really good came of it. Timing was an issue there because they had, if they could have combined all of those things to say, hey, here's some stuff with state of the game. Here's some stuff with Final Shape. Blackburn teasing some stuff in the future with like Checkmate and Zur updates and other things. Like, combine all that into one message, it'd be a little more balanced and smooth to like digest, not this just awful first taste that you don't really want to go back for seconds. Like, that was the problem, is like that state of the game soured a whole lot of people hard. And then they had to try and say, no, I'm sorry, and then try and claw them back after they just went running away. Like, no, this other dish tastes really good. We got more. Like, it's not. And that's kind of the issue, is they weren't too well timed in their messaging. And I think that's something that can also help in the future, is like figure out what you've got to say and then figure out the whole message you need to deliver to actually have it be a little better of an understanding of like, here's a little good, here's a little bad, as opposed to drop the bad on a Friday and then 3 weeks later we're going to tell you about this thing, but you get to sit on that for a while. Have fun.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure.
So, well, as we wrap this thing up, fun conversation, gentlemen. Always enjoy these with just the three of us kind of chopping it up. And
I missed it, y'all.
I missed it, y'all. We missed you too, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we missed you.
Mm-hmm.
We needed the cog energy in here. It's funny.
Yeah, me
my
and
wife.
Ebontis, it's like it's too white. I mean, it's just.
I mean, that's true.
I don't know how else to say it. Like,
we are just a cheese pizza. And we
That's
are.
right.
It's just like,
but you don't like condiment.
we need some of your
like
salt.
pepperoni. I like pepperoni.
So no, we definitely don't need no salt from me.
No, yeah.
Ebontis, you look like you were like pepperoni. I don't know what that means, but
what does that
they
even
say,
mean?
I don't know, but they say a group of white people is called a podcast, and I just don't want to live up to that. I don't want to live up to that stereotype. So I'm glad to have you back, Cog. Bringing color.
Your push the line is the greatest. You are the greatest. Now, this show, man. This is fun having these discussions, and it's my safe place to talk freely. So without people getting so upset with me or certain things.
Okay, well, I can understand one of your podcasts that goes about 5 hours. There's some opinions.
Yes.
I really wish Maddie could. I wish Destiny was a place where Maddie could play. But I also, to him, I can't dude, you have way too much going on. I can't recommend this mess to jump into. Like,
bro, you're right.
And that's I wish I could, but I was like, it's kind of hard to tell somebody who does all of what he does to be like, you need to carve out time for this thing. Be like, between everything else? No, probably not right now.
Every time I try to get him, he has the ultimate comeback. She's like, all right, so I'm gonna be able to play the Red War campaign and everything from big start to finish, right? I'm like, we're working on it. And I got no comeback. He's like, so the content's gone, right, Cog? I'm like, yeah, content's not back. But they got this other little system that he is like, until they do that, he was like, I really don't want to hear it. I want to play that game from start to finish. And Travis, I gotta ask you this before I was meaning to ask you this. Do you think there's a theory going on? I don't think it's true, but you correct me if I'm wrong. There's a theory that with the Activision acquisition or whatever, that the reason that the content was vaulted was because that was Activision content. That was High Moon, Vicarious, and that there's part of that reason is why we won't be able to ever play those things fully. Do you subscribe to that theory, or do you think, there's still Bungie just being Bungie?
I've heard rumors, not just rumors from people on the street, but rumors from people in Bungie that there's something going on specifically with Cade 6's character, like Activision owned Cade 6 or something like that, and so they had to like write him off with Forsaken, and then after the PlayStation acquisition they were able to write him back in because PlayStation worked out whatever the issue was with Activision.
Man, if that's
And
a
so
thing, that is crazy.
That would be interesting.
There's some like weird licensing, partial ownership weirdness that I think Bungie just wanted to avoid when they were independent, and now they can be a little bit more bullish because they have a backer or whatever. But I honestly don't really, the waters are super muddy, and I don't even know if people in Bungie really understand, except for the people at a really high level. And honestly, maybe not even then. Maybe
like,
they're lawyers.
That's like
it might be like, yeah,
this is a whole game.
It might be their lawyers. Yeah,
it could be like a separation agreement. Well, we have the rights to. Yeah, I didn't even think
Destiny,
about that.
And I think it was actually
right now.
I think
we definitely CB grade.
High Moon Studios or something like that. But again, it's like this is all just people talking, and I don't know if there's any definitive. I'm sure somebody will write about this later on about what was going on there. But it seems like whatever that was worked itself out before the Activision acquisition, because they already announced bringing Cade 6 back, and we were already seeing them start to add some of the old story stuff in the game. So I tend to believe that there might be something to the theory that there was some sort of legal dispute there. But I think that was resolved before the acquisition, so I don't think it's going to affect it.
Better call Hogue.
Yeah.
So interestingly, Hogue's brother worked on Forsaken.
Oh, you said
High Moon. So yeah,
he's been transparent about that.
Yeah, he always has.
He hasn't hidden that.
But yeah, it's like something around all of that has always just been like weird. We may never know, or it's going to be in Jason Schreier's book 3. It's kind of one of those. It's like, we'll just we'll figure that stuff out way later. Of course. Like, I mean, I'd love to just be like, excuse me, Mark Noseworthy. I have some questions about this stuff that's going on. Can you like to write a book?
Yeah, we gotta get Luke Smith a couple drinks and find out what happened.
Couple hundred.
Those were the days.
Bro, he got all the skeletons. He's from that original during the rewrites and he knows what.
I missed the days where it was actually an option to get him drunk when he was hanging out with journalists, because we used to do that like every 3 or 4 months.
Oh, you met him?
Oh yeah.
I've never
tons
met
of
him.
times.
Never seen him in person.
Back when they used to do on-site reviews for every expansion and every release, like when they came out with the PC version of the game, or they came out with like a new season, they used to have journalists at the Bungie office for like 2 days, 3 days, sometimes a week if it was a really big expansion like Destiny 2. They would have us up there, and Luke Smith was always like on the ground floor walking around watching people play, and then afterwards we'd go to like dinner and get drinks, and he was always there, and he was super down. He would just talk to you about stuff, and was a great guy to just get to know. But this is part of why the remote environment makes me sad, because I feel like there's a lot less exchange, and it's not just between media and game developers, but also like game developer to game developer talking and like about and sharing tips, and people moving over to other teams. And there was just a lot of like cross-pollination that happened at events like E3 and stuff like that that's sort of gone. And I don't think you get that when you work fully remote, and especially when you have your conferences be remote. You're just killing off E3 as an in-person event. So I miss those, man. I guess this is my way of saying, Bungie, let's do an on-site review for
Can I go?
The next Destiny.
Let's go. Can I go? I want to be invited too. I want to go to the building. I've never been.
Honestly,
Bellevue.
they always did invite like smaller outlets there. There was always like people I didn't recognize that were. In fact, I was one of them. I originally started writing about Destiny for us, an indie outlet, and they would invite me every time. So now as IGN, I'd be royalty, because I remember Destin would go to those events with me, but he would be representing IGN and I'd be representing some no-name outlet, and he would always get like, oh, they're doing the IGN interview between these hours, so like, all the developers aren't going to be around because they got to do like a special on-camera thing with Destin. And I'd be like, this guy thinks he's better than me, and he was.
Oh man, I actually, speaking of Destin, I saw he was hanging up the bakery.
Oh,
did he? I didn't see that.
I saw it on Twitter that he's like by the end of the year or something like that.
It looked like a lot of work, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
it
looked like he was
like, hey, I was like, hey, Destin, how you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just buying like 50 pounds of chocolate chips.
Yeah, I know. You'd be going to Costco, just like Costco bags of flour and chips. Yeah, I believe that. Shout out to Destin.
A distributor. Yeah, he was like
Yeah.
buying them from like official distribution.
That's crazy.
chains and
That's all
stuff.
cool.
It's like, bro, what?
Yeah,
All
so,
right. Well, to try and keep the show under 2 hours, I
Yeah.
think this is a good
Sorry.
place to wrap it up. No.
Mhm.
This is we're still good. My wife got a new car and we haven't tootled around in it too much yet, so kind of might want to go.
Going out for a spin, go
do
for a
that.
spin.
Yeah.
Nice.
The Integra Type S. Go look it up. Got it in black on black. Looks really good.
Oh,
But it's a stick.
Paul Casey gave you the ultimate shout out in one of your videos just now. Did you see his comment?
Oh. Why you soloed Witch Queen? I'm
Witch
glad
Queen.
those videos,
Let's
man.
go.
I have like 3 left to do on Nightfall, and I'm like, I'm so far beyond. I need to just like dump the 3 videos out at like 11:59 on a random like Saturday night when nobody's gonna see them, but at least they'll be searchable in that playlist because I need to finish that playlist. So,
Yeah.
thought I would look more like Matt Dillon. That is a weird thing when if you ever talk to somebody, like you do a voice call with somebody, then you finally see him in person. It was like meeting people at GCX. Like I met Shadow, and I was like,
Yeah.
didn't expect what you would look like because you never know like
Mhm.
what voice is
Yeah.
going to come with somebody else. So it's always
Not true. I've been told I look exactly like how people pictured me.
You do. I will give you
So,
that. You are.
yeah.
You don't surprise too much. So.
They're like, oh nope, yep, that's what he looks
That's
like.
Travis.
Yep.
He won't go on camera, and I didn't put out his picture, but I got to be Stadia time. That was
I know. I
That was
heard
great.
that.
Stadia
That was
was awesome.
that was the one thing I was jealous about is that you guys got to meet Stadia.
Dude,
time.
that is like a
I'm like, bro,
Stadia
like-
Time is a nice dude, but I will tell
Nice
you
dude.
that is an attractive man. Like
Yeah, I'm
also,
like, why-
Oh, really?
that is a well
Yeah,
put
but
together
you're a
guy.
good-looking dude. I'm like, why are you hiding this? Like, what's going on? I said, no, I'm not ready. I'm like, damn, I can't even put the picture up.
Dude,
He said,
like, no, he could
I
walk
I
a-
would prefer you don't,
Dude,
cock.
if
I'm
he
like,
would
all
walk
right.
her, if he actually had his face on camera, like, dude, the girls would be throwing themselves at him at like
Bro.
TwitchCon. I'm sure. Like,
Really?
he's
Bro,
a good looking
bottle
dude.
material,
Man.
good looking dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's
Wow.
going on? Why are we hiding this? What's going on?
Yeah.
I put my face on camera. What's your excuse?
Yeah.
I'm brave. This is brave. Okay, right here.
So that was like Stadia Time. Like the banana thing is hilarious, but he is like nicest dude. Great guy.
Nicest dude. Absolutely.
And you would appreciate it, Travis. He dresses well because he's the one who actually helped. He helped Fallout pick out the suit for his like shoutcast that he did at GCX. So like he went shopping. Fallout went shopping with Stadia Time, and you look at him and he's like, he dresses well. So
Shout out to Steven Tech. He said that's why he hides his face. He knows his power.
yeah,
That's right.
too much power. Yeah,
Yeah.
with great power.
He's not trying to turn GCX into an orgy, guys. You know, he's gotta.
Hey, with great power comes great responsibility. And on that note,
We gotta end this show.
Spider-Man, topical, full circle.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's everything we got. That's all I know for now. I know I might be playing. I got a code for something. Might be getting a code for something else. I might be playing some stuff off stream. I know
vague.
exactly. Might be playing some stuff on stream, like Lords of the Fallen, if I find time. But I've like my brother's coming to town this weekend.
Nice.
But I still need to play. I don't know. So I'll be doing that. You guys got anything real quick as we wrap up?
Games, time to catch up now.
Yeah,
you know,
time to
it's time to catch up. Yeah, time to play. That's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. Couple games coming in next month that I do want to check out. I'm debating if I should touch Dragon Ishii when the man without his name is coming, and then I played Persona Tactica and I liked it. So November's gonna be crazy for me. I'm in trouble. So yeah, it's a mess for me.
Oh yeah, I was talking to one of the many like PR people that are on Twitter and stuff like that, and he was saying he's been working on a bunch, but he mentioned like Persona and stuff that's coming out, and I'm like, yeah, it is,
bro.
Yeah, the fire hose hasn't quite stopped yet.
It hasn't stopped, bro. So many games, and then I know y'all got Alan Wake. I feel for y'all. And Mario drops this week. Like this year is crazy. It's insane. Trav, what you doing? What you playing? What you go?
Yeah, I'm reviewing Return to Moria, the Lord of the Rings survival game where you play dwarves in the mines of Moria. I know nothing about it. I'm waiting for. They've had trouble with their distribution of code, so I'm supposed to get it tomorrow. Is now the plan, and the game comes out on Tuesday, just for reference. So probably a review in progress situation with score later, but
no goblin.
I'll play. Yeah, well, we'll see. Probably goblin mode. We'll see.
Jesus.
I mean, dude, it's Lord of the Rings. What would be more appropriate? You want me to not go goblin mode?
You go Schmiegel. You go Schmiegel.
Yeah.
Schmiegel.
But yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then what else am I checking out? I got more VR games. I'm going to Meta tomorrow to play another VR game. So
we're gonna talk offline. Which office you going to?
Yeah. I'm going to the San Mateo office, I believe.
Oh damn.
So
yeah.
Can't make it. like you're gonna fly out. Yeah.
Like, I'll be there.
Anyway,
legit. If we had planned it earlier, I could have made an excuse.
Oh,
working out of
I like
office.
that. Better to know, but
corporate card. I could use the corporate card.
That's good to know. Good to know.
We could utilize that. We'll talk later.
Travis, please review the King Kong game. That's the request in chat.
I am not reviewing the King Kong game, but
we need
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Wait.
I need you to review Skull. What is it? Skull something?
Skull Island or something.
I was going to review that game, and what happened was they decided for some reason to not give advanced codes to anyone, and so I don't know. Who knows why? And so
why?
It didn't work out, and the person who reviewed its name is Phil or I don't remember the person's name. I'm sorry, but it got a 3 from IGN, and you should definitely read it. It's a good review. They nailed it. So I'm sad I missed that and Gollum this year. I missed 2 really bad games. I don't know, dude.
So I am addicted to you reviewing bad.
Me too.
I think it's great.
I also kind of like it. But that said, I still have the lowest scoring game this year.
Which was Old Nerf?
It was a Testament. The Order of the High Human. So if you guys didn't know, I did review the worst game this year. I gave it a 2 out of 10. It's a game called Testament, the Order of High Human. It is a game so bad that they spelled their own game's title wrong multiple times. Like they change, like in some places it's Order of High Human, sometimes it's the Order of the High Human, and sometimes it's just Testament. Like they can't decide on what their own game is called. It is a very you should check out that one. But I missed a few very high profile.
The spectrum of Travis reviews continues. So
the spectrum does continue. But fewer bad games this year. I think I might be over the hump of paying my dues, but they throw me a bad one every once in a while.
They just want to see you just thrash something every so often. It's just for entertainment.
No, that's not the issue. The issue is I say yes to every review they offer me.
Yeah.
Most people, when they're offered a review and it looks like it's going to be bad, they go, "I'm good." But when Dan offers it, if Dan offers a game to me, he knows I'm going to say yes. So if he's exhausted all other options, he'll be like, "Travis, here's your next game," and I go, "Cool, I'm going to do it." And this year I've been lucky because they've realized that I can take on bigger projects and I'm reliable. I always hit embargo. So they're like, we need you on Diablo 4 or we need you on Remnant 2 or whatever. So they've been using me for bigger projects, but if there's a bad game nobody else wants to review and I'm free, I will take it. I also reviewed a 3 this year. And actually I think that review is more funny. It is the UFO one. What's it called? Gray Hill Incident. Gray Hill Incident. If you want to see a funny game that is just like a silly ass game, look at Gray Hill Incident. It is a horror game about little gray men that invade a farm village, a farm town, and it is a doozy, bro. That's another game. There's another game I went there.
You're getting some love in chat. You're a good reviewer, sir. You put
thank you, man. Appreciated, Plague. Thank you so much.
Plague is a tough critic too. He's definitely going to call a spade. So that's
thank you. Yeah, I just love
the backdrop with me in the backdrop.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, you're my backdrop.
When I was on 5G chat, we first met, kind of.
Yeah, that's right.
Young there. Damn.
That's what?
No glasses.
No glasses, and I think I was a good deal. I was like
that was before the villain arc. That was when you was that was before we truly saw your take over the world. And the glasses came, and that's when it really spiraled for you. Continue.
Yeah. The glasses came. That's what did it. No, my issue is I got LASIK, and then my eyesight got bad again. That is a really great review. So yeah, I'm working on stuff, man. I love reviewing games, good or bad. I'm kind of like a defense attorney. I think every game deserves its time in the public forum. It deserves somebody to tell their peers whether they should play that game or not. So it's cool. But yeah, check out those 2 reviews if you want to see some bad games that I reviewed this year.
Sounds good.
Well, on that note, definitely go watch ILP, go watch Bitcast, go to IGN, go to lordsofgaming.net.
Talk about white podcast. Jeez. Bitcast. It's a little much. A little much.
Other day.
Anyways, go follow all of these things if you guys want to see me. You guys know where to find me. Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, Ebontis, all the good stuff. And we'll be playing, working on stuff, and we will see you guys next week. Festival will still be going, but I think we'll have some interesting gaming to talk about. So for this episode, I will say, Cog, this is last time when we did our little last word outro.
Oh, we did?
No, Travis and I were literally wave frame perfect. When I recorded it, we were spot on. So no pressure.
With the delay.
With the delay, we were spot on last time. So for everybody, October 19th, as we wrap up this episode, number 269, it has been
the last word.